Okay, I'm just trying to finish my fucking yogurt, and I need you to know that Artemy is not only blocking out the red light. A second ago, he was trying to open up the fucking cabinet right here, the drawer. He just meowed at me. He grabbed the handle and pulled it out, but because it's blocked by the light that's down there, it didn't open all the way. Well, now he's not doing it because he knows. I'm not done with my yogurt. There's something on your face. You know when you're watching an anime and someone's mid-eating and they've got a crumb in their cheek? Why do you like it then, but not now? Huh? Why do you like a simulacrum of reality, but not the presentation in reality itself? What you're going to shame me for being like the platonic ideal of a man caught mid-eating? Okay, now I'm ready. Hey, what's up? What's up, people? Crumless? Yeah, crumless. Rocking DD titties and still getting mess gendered. What the fuck? Yeah, me too. Got my new fucking large shirt. I've got to get used to wearing large shirts. The XLs are too big on me. Artemy! He loves that red light. He loves that red light. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's the Tim Pool thing. The first Fem Reznov, you've said like 8 things in chat that have made me want to ban you purely based on vibes, and I don't even know why. Like I feel like I feel like I'm getting the like JoJo stand user effect where we make eye contact in a public place, and for a moment I feel like a cold chill, and I don't know why. And it's gonna be like 6 chapters until I realize you're a stand user, you know? Just letting you know that, like, unlike a protagonist in JoJo, I will take the first shot. Um, what would be your stand? I always thought that the best JoJo stand for me, and I think you could get a lot of mileage out of this one. I don't know, like, call it Queens of the Stone Age because I like the band or whatever, but the bit would be, I think, that I would get stronger, or it would get stronger, if we're arguing and I'm winning. But the argument could be about anything, and winning is purely just a vibes thing. So I would, like, interrupt the protagonist in the street, and I'd be like, hey, what do you think is better, chocolate or vanilla ice cream? And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, personally, I think the depth of flavor in vanilla bean is greater than anything you could get with chocolate. And they're like, what? And then I punch them and they fly through a fucking wall or something. And then, whoa, and it's like, and the only way to win would be like make a compelling argument for the chocolate or something. I feel like you could get so much mileage out of that. Honestly, if done well and you have the right like ascension powers, I think you could get like that's like protagonist territory. I think you could get so much out of that, having like an annoying, yeah, um protagonist who's speaks Japanese and just never shuts the fuck up. That'd be pretty good. If it's based on your perception of who's winning, you'd be unstoppable. Yeah, yeah, no, well, it would kind of work that way too, right? Because there's no like objective judge or anything. It would mostly just be like, how much do I think I'm winning? It wouldn't even matter if I'm right or anything like that. It would just be a conviction thing. I think you could get so much mileage out of that. Artemy looks so comfy right now. You can see his butt. What would be your stand name? I said my stand name. Queens of the Stone Age. Because I like that band. I mean, it's just any band. It's not like there's any relationship between their powers and their band, the band name. Are you proud of me for going to a student encampment? Yes, absolutely. Higuruma in JJK does something similar, and I adore his debate. Does anybody else feel like their ability to care about what happens in JJK is severely hampered by the fact that nothing fun ever happened? Like, man, in Naruto or One Piece, especially early on, you got so many hijinks. This is one of the things that makes One Piece really good, like on a long read. It's that the tone stays consistent. You had like really dark moments in the Arlong Park arc, along with comedy, and all the way up to like now, you still have it. Like there's a really good balance. It's not it doesn't just like keep getting darker and darker and darker or whatever. It doesn't do that. But with JJK, man, dude, the main trio never did anything together. There was a tweet about this, and it's true. They never did anything together. Like, at all. The only cute stuff they did together was in the anime extras at the end of the episode, and those weren't even in the manga, right? Or even if they were, they're just like a little bit, you know? It's not even... Yeah. They did pre-Shibuya? No, they didn't! Go reread it or rewatch it. Pre-Shibuya, they didn't do shit together. The main trio never had like any trio adventure. There was like the one time that they were like at the very beginning when they were in that building together and the girl got like rocked because her powers are more esoteric than the other two. And then there was under the bridge overpass where they got separated immediately. They never did anything at all. Yeah, JJK needs filler. Yuji has known about the existence of Jutsu sorcerers for like half a year. Lol. Did you know that the entire story of My Hero Academia has taken place in the first year that Deku is in school? Like all of that has been in 1 year. The entire arc, everything, like the whole fucking... It's like 1 year. Like, motherfucker never got a chance to shit. Dude never got a chance to do anything. There was never a time skip at any point. It'd be like if all of Harry Potter took place in Harry Potter's first year. Stop reading after the League of Villain arc. Is it good? No. Dungeon Meshi does this so well, the pacing is perfect. Dungeon Meshi's pacing works well because it's not a shonen where they like battle and level up or whatever the fuck. They're not any stronger at the end of the series than they are at the beginning. Like they do an adventure. It's the story of an adventure. I feel like it's much closer to being like The Hobbit than it is a shonen. They don't there's never a power up or anything. Yeah, they get more autistic over time, you know? I think you should buy the manga, Quoteth. It's good. No spoilers, Pazel Bob. Yeah, Vinland Saga's good. They do level up. Senshi's food actually helps. Don't be pedantic and contrarian. Seeing Freerin? Yeah. Hunter x Hunter takes at least a year between the start and Greed Island. Yeah, I do wish that they grew up a little bit more. You'd think, considering their age, that Gon and Killua would have grown up a bit, but I guess that's like artistic license for the, for the story. It's just kind of funny that Gon looks exactly the same, like exactly the same, when he's a fresh-faced, apple-cheeked, little boy on the fucking Whale Island or whatever the shit, as he heads off to the hunter exam, and then like looking down at Kite's corpse 3 seconds before, he fucking uh does animal abuse at like Hiroshima levels of impact. What I don't get is how the Shibuya arc takes place in literally 2 hours. I actually like that. I actually really like, because that's relatively rare. I actually really like an arc that is just one fucked up incident that just because that's also the second half of the Chimera Ant arc when they siege the castle. I like that a lot actually, where it's just like, yeah, we're just going to dedicate like 26 episodes to about an hour or so of real time because so much is happening. Shibuya felt like an homage to the castle siege. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a relationship there, right? Because the Chimera Ant arc really is the best to ever do it. No, I've not seen X-Men 97. I've never given a shit about the X-Men. I've heard it's good. I mean, World Eater Fae, like, people misuse the term filler all the time. Even, like, relaxation episodes should contribute to character development. For the most part, like, Avatar The Last Airbender did this really well. Yeah, there are anime that have real filler, like One Piece or DBZ or whatever the fuck, where they just draw out time. It is important to, like, slow the pacing down sometimes. Like, that's fucking JJK so much. Would ATLA count as anime? I count it as anime. Though if you like express that opinion online, the woke mob tries to cancel you, so. That's my biggest criticism. I have the JJK It Needs a Beach episode. Okay, honestly, I think that a beach episode would be a good idea because a little bit of overt fan service might balance out the like weird, creepy, I'm not doing fan service, but I'm doing fan service bit. People gave so much praise to JJK for being good with its treatment of women just because they're wearing like full outfits and not skimpy lingerie all the time. But man, the way that show treats women sometimes is pretty fucking weird. you know? Um, Pretty goddamn weird. Why does it have to be anime? I never said it had to be anime. Half of Demon Slayer is just training and fucking around. It makes it more comfy. Yeah, well, the main issue with Demon Slayer is that it's trash. So, dog, man, I'm still haunted by the first episode of season 3. Speaking of treating women weirdly, Jesus Christ, does anyone else think did they like completely change the personality of the love Harshima or whatever the fuck their name is, the one with the titties? Because I feel like when we first saw her in season 1 or 2 or whatever, she was like meek and coquettish, and then in the third season she suddenly became like dumb and boisterous and like nya, did they get like a note? They were like, more gooners will come to this if we change her personality completely. She was very bimboified for no reason. That's pretty weird, yeah. They're remaking this current season? What the fuck do you mean they're remaking? In the manga, she stays consistent. Wait, they actually genuinely did just randomly change her personality in the anime so more gooners would be like, yes, oh my god. That's really bad. That's really bad. Just like, here's the woman character. Let me, yeah, like, we need to make her more... God, dude, that's really bad. No wonder I was getting bad vibes from this single episode of season 3 that I watched. Jesus. The Demon Slayer manga is much better than the anime. Yeah. I feel like there are still flaws that I wouldn't get over, but I don't know. I haven't read it. You ever watch Korra? Yes. Should I start the Dunmesh manga from the start? Just read it all. Why do you... It's like 60 chapters. Just, why are you asking? Just read it. Yeah, why would you pick up a manga, like, halfway through? Aren't you going to enjoy reading it? Like, all the... Like, just read it. 90? Okay, 90's not that much. I saw some examples of the automatopoeia in Demon Slayer, and it seemed to be nonsense obscuring the action. My favorite part of Demon Slayer is that it's a shonen, which means that it is in large part about scaling fights and powering up between them. And the only way in which characters power up is sometimes they'll be losing a fight, and then they'll think about how they're losing the fight, and then they like take a deep breath, and then they pull out another number in the arbitrary list of sword techniques that they have that don't seem to do anything specific or unique. There's never like oh, I could use this to do this. It's always like, I have a +1 technique. This is all manga. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. Demon Slayer is pretty bad about this. There's no logic between what they end up doing and how it affects like the fight in any... It just happens, you know? Not true? Oh, they mad. 100% true, dude. Come on. I think it's a lot of manga. That, I mean, maybe like, bad manga. Just believe in sword magic. Don't think about it too much, Lamau. I mean, you can employ like logic in the way the abilities of... Dude, Hunter x Hunter is amazing about this. In Hunter x Hunter, like the entire Nen, like you take like a fucking PhD level doctorate course in Nenology so that you can understand what the fuck people are doing in their counters. There's literally a fight in the Chimera Antarch where one of the protagonists like folds his arms and he's like, "You fucking idiot, you've not contemplated the consequences of your ability. In 8 hours your doom is guaranteed." And then he wins. Like, you can put thought in, you know? I never found the Nen system that complicated. I mean, by the standards, you know? They don't have to rationalize Demon Slayer. So I'm not saying they need to rationalize it. I'm saying that it needs to be narratively satisfying for it to be employed, and not just like, I am now going to do my attack +1, or attack +2, or attack +3. Like, the attack should, I don't know, mean something. I don't know. Whoa, Paul of Deep Fat Fry doesn't like me, Karl Marx? That's fucking crazy. There's a theory that the Dark Continent was abandoned and Nen became secret for the same reason, that Nen is so complex that it led to so many people creating Nen beasts post-mortem. Yeah, Flevier, this is one of the things that I really wish they had fleshed out, because the secrecy of Nen makes no sense. Nen is so secret that people will take the hunter's exam and then get secretly approached by a Nen trainer afterwards if they win, to like get taught Nen as the final test for becoming a hunter. But at the same time, there are like internationally broadcasted wrestling matches in a 2 million foot tall tower where people are like obviously using Nen abilities on each other, you know? Like you're literally watching like a guy fucking split into two. Nobody could watch that and think magic doesn't exist. You can only get to the top floor by doing Nen, yeah. And this is supposed to be peak? Yes. What manga do you consider the best fights overall? What do you mean by, like, have to be manga? Can it be anime? I don't know, manga. Um, I don't know. I think they genuinely just think magic is Islam. I mean, it does, but like the announcers always seem baffled. Like, hey, yo, I'm here at the fight tower where everyone uses fucking magic powers and wizardry on each other. Some guy just split in two to like punch a dude. I have no idea how that happened. This is only like the 800th time I've seen magic happen. You know, it happens literally every single fight. Inexplicable shit that can only be explained by magic keeps happening. I have no, I guess, professional curiosity into the continuous use of what is obviously magic, and the fact that every single time I walk by any of the top competitors, I feel like a chilling aura that makes me want to like collapse on the floor and die. You know, and, I'm just like I have no further questions. People think of it like wrestling. Oh yeah, dude, it's like all fake. And you see somebody fucking split into 16 shadow clone jutsu before chopping a guy up and have they're like, ah yeah, okay, that was like a mannequin, you know. I mean, maybe that might be more plausible than the idea that Nen is a secret, even though it gets broadcasted nonstop. Not to mention the fact that, like, none of the fucking bodyguards for the mafia or the military in the, what is it, NGR, those guys didn't have Nen except for, like, one or two dudes. You'd think that, like, regular soldiers would be useless in a world where people can be immune to bullets and just NGO, yeah, no, NGO is a different thing. NGL, thank you, yeah. Like, why would you ever use regular soldiers when you can just go like, yeah, I'm going to go pay every hunter I can find, you know, I'm going to get them on my fucking staff list, and they'll be able to, like, single-handedly take down a country. Stands made more sense. Well, stand users were really rare. Nen doesn't seem that rare. I guess Nen users are rare. Yeah, they're rare, but they're being broadcast on national TV. Remember, it's a secret. It's not like stand users are having stand fights in a way that's like getting broadcast on national TV. Isn't a conventional weapon used in the Antarctic? Yeah, but that's clearly not good, like, interpersonal shit. Also, stands can't be seen. Yeah, also, stands can't be seen. You also can't learn to use a stand. You could learn to use Nen, right? Yeah, that's another thing. Like, sometimes people can be taught to use Nen. A stand, like, you only get a stand if you've been pierced by the arrow. Um, or some other bullshit. And only stand users can see stands. Yeah, Flavier. And, like, one of them could take down a fight. This is what I've always said about superpowers, man. If superpowers were real, there wouldn't be like a league of superheroes. There would be like an elite cabinet of fucking special ops guys that every country desperately tries to hire from, and to like do you know, like black ops work in other countries. So basically, the boys. No, no, you just said the first thing that came to your head there, didn't I? What I just said, not what you just said. No, the boys are a corporate entity. I just said something and you were like, oh, the boys is a thing that is not like normal superheroism. It must be like that. Your reflexive need to instantly, like, let's denigrate the thing that's being said by like haphazardly comparing it to the first thing that comes to your mind. I think that The Authority is the closest that comics ever got to a realistic depiction of what superheroes would be like. Ugh. Also, stand users kind of take care of their own population because fate draws them together and they do fight a lot. Not to mention, Nen users are way the fuck stronger than stand users, right? Like, the strongest, like, stand users are esoteric, but there are Nen users that, like, fully could just destroy the world. Certainly we saw at least one at the end of the Chimera Ant Like, that guy was a fucking planet-level threat. That guy was like a One-Punch Man villain. Towards the end, you know? There's a stand that stops time. Thank you, Lily Krem. I have seen one of the most popular pieces of animated media ever produced. I am familiar with the one stand everybody knows. Thank you. Go watch all of Hunter x Hunter, you know, and compare and like wonder, do you think Dio could beat fucking fucking Meruem, you know? Do you? Most stands are simple shit. One literally made food taste good. Yeah, that was a good one. That was one of the best episodes, man. I mean, Giorno and Johnny would be able to beat basically any Nen user we saw, but that's about it. Okay, but if you integrate the, like, power systems, you have to assume that either, like, stand users possess Nen... Like, okay, think about integrating these systems, right? That would make stand users summoners, right? Like, they would be Nen users who have a pact that allows them to summon the stand, and that stand has their ability. Like, that's how you would integrate it conceptually. And with that in mind, they would still be limited by their power, and I don't think anything comes close to, like, fucking Meruem at the end, you know? Like, not even a little bit, right? Like, you have to think, like, at some point, that level of power scaling, like, you hit a wall. But he lost, though? I mean, he lost to, like, Radiation. That's worse, Lamal Vosh. That makes Johnny able to Nen bargain for even more infinite spin. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, this is why you can't really do power scaling arguments between series. You can't actually do it. You could always say, like, yeah, Nen people couldn't be beaten by non-Nen people because Nen could block it, or Stand users could never, like, be beaten by Nen people because Stand is its own power. You could always, yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen a Red Bleach. I feel like Nen and Stand should be separate, meaning Stand users could learn Nen. That'd be pretty fucking broken. What about Devil Fruit powers? I like Devil Fruit powers because they're not abstract or conceptual. They're pretty, excuse me, they're understandable and yeah, they're very tangible. I like that. Sometimes I like the non-tangibility of magic. Like, for instance, I don't mind the way they handle magic in JJK. I mind the pacing. I don't necessarily mind. I don't mind, like, here's this new guy, and the new guy is like fucking Shadow Empire, Fortress Domain, and some bullshit happens, and like there's a bunch of flashing colors, and then like 3 seconds later, half of downtown Tokyo is gone. I don't mind the esotericism necessarily, but I would mind it in One Piece, where everything is so upbeat and cartoony and jovial. The closest thing we've seen to esotericism really is Luffy's awakened power, right? You know? Because like making everything a cartoon is pretty esoteric, I would say. Like that's pretty, you know, that's pretty out there. No catch up. Well, I'm caught up in the manga. I'm just saying that it's relatively esoteric compared to most of the shit that you can do with the devil fruits. They foreshadow. I'm not talking about whether it was an ass pull. I'm not saying it was an ass pull. I'm just saying that it's esoteric. Like it's not like a tangible effect. It's not as easily understandable as he's rubber and he can punch something, you know? Yeah, abstract. Like it's not like you can't measure its power in like newtons or whatever. You're like, oh yeah, it's produced this much megajoules of kick-ass energy. It's like, oh yeah, he makes shit cartoony, you know? Like that's cool. We've activated the One Piece fans. We need to move on. The One Piece fans were activated at exactly 12 p.m. PT because I am one of them, you know? That's when I went live. I like stands because they made each character different, unlike DBZ. I mean, I think that, like, unless it's the only anime you've ever watched, I genuinely think everyone smart would have to acknowledge DBZ is kind of like poo-poo butt. Like shit from an ass. Genuinely. Dragon Ball is good as like a lighthearted shonen adventure. Dragon Ball Z and onward is like absolute ass. And Toriyama didn't even like writing it. Like it's common knowledge that the editors were like, yeah, man, give him another Super Saiyan level. And Toriyama's like, I gave him 6 already. And they're like, yeah, give him a 7th one. We need to sell figurines. Like you're eating slop from an asshole with that one. Why'd he do it then? What do you mean? He worked with Shonen Jump. He had an editor. It was his job. He probably also liked being incredibly wealthy and influential. You are now banned from Mexico? Yeah, I figured. I've always wanted to go to Mexico City, but yeah. DB should have ended in the Cell Saga. DB should have ended when Goku was like 10. If it's so bad, why is it so loved in South America and or Mexico? I mean, Brazilians love Woody the Woodpecker. You know, how do you account for like weird, random cultural, like something booms in an area? I don't know. They love Luffy too. Yeah, but One Piece is good, which is the difference. If it's bad, why do I like it? Undefeatable argument. Woody was super influential, though, wasn't he? Hello, Brazilian. Nobody in America gives a fuck about Woody the Woodpecker. It's for some reason, I guess, in Brazil, they really like him. I have no idea why. Though Mexicans like Speedy Gonzalez too. I don't know if that. I don't think that like in Mexico you're gonna see Speedy Gonzalez merch in every shop. I've from every Mexican that I've ever heard talk about Speedy Gonzalez said they like him. Yeah. One Piece introduces 1.5 new well-defined characters per anime episode or something close to that. I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about. You mean like new character? There are a fuck ton of One Piece characters. I don't know if you I don't know like about well-defined, really. I just hope, because I'm caught up with the manga, I hope that at this point, I hope that they stop adding new characters in One Piece. They need to start, like, we've been building up and up and up and up and up this big roller coaster ride, and it's time to start, like, rolling down, right? We've had a very consistent tone for 25, 30 years or whatever. You know, it's time to start bringing back and consolidating. Bringing back and consolidating. Who is your favorite villain from One Piece? Nobody tops Doflamingo. I'm sorry. The tension of the Dressrosa arc, nothing else comes close. IMO. I like 100%, yeah. There are other great villains, but that one was just so good. There's something so good about an unapologetically evil character where basically no effort is put into making them redeemable, but it's not in like an indulgent way. Doflamingo is so over the top, but he also feels really realistic in the sense that that kind of like over the top flair feels perfectly appropriate given his life and his situation. It's just like it's like he's a psycho and he needs to go down. That was one of the most satisfying moments from the end of The Last Airbender 2, where they're talking to you know, Uncle Iroh, and Zuko was like, I know you're gonna tell me that I have to like get along with my sister, and I was like, no, you have to kill her. I'm sorry, Steven. I think we're gonna have to kill this girl. We're gonna have to kill this niece. So satisfying because we've had like 3 seasons of watching her be an irredeemable monster and the most forgiving character in the show is like, oh no, you have to kill her. Actually, you will have to get her with hammers. Yeah, let's beat this girl. It's yeah. That quote was actually early season 2. Was it? No, it wasn't early season 2. It was a little bit before the Agni Kai, right? Whatever. It's not relevant to my point. Yeah, exactly, Flavier. I do like it sometimes when characters who would otherwise be inclined to talk it out with the villain just get past that point. Because Luffy's kind of also like that in a way. Luffy's not like a Steven Universe, I can talk you out of being evil kind of guy, but he's pretty amenable to like you know, he's not like vindictive, right? Like Luffy, you know, doesn't go for the kill, and if you indicate that you're a good person or potentially a good person, he's like on board with that. Um, so it is satisfying to have that contrasted with like a completely irredeemable piece of shit. Oh man, this was quite the opening stunlock, huh? All right, well we've reaffirmed our preferences. I honestly think they were pretty mean with Azula. Like, the girl is 15 years old. Zuko gets to be redeemed, but not his little sister. Yeah, but because Zuko and Azula were, like, not even a little bit alike. Like, they're not... like, what's the similarity except for them both being young, right? Zuko was always kind of tormented by what he had to do. He, of his own will, approached the gang and, like, asked for redemption. Azula only got worse and crazier with time. Her story was tragic, but like that's the point, right? Her having a tragic backstory doesn't mean that you just get away with it. Like sometimes they have to hit you with hammers. They have to beat you to death with the hammers, you know? Also, her backstory was less tragic than Zuko's, man. She was like the privileged child, you know? Like Zuko has way more trauma in his past. She just took it harder because she felt like literally Azula's main trauma is she's upset that her mom correctly identified that she was a monstrous sociopath. Like, literally, her backstory was like, even at a young age, my mother realized I was a sociopath, and I hated that she knew that about me. Like, she was like that, like, at 5. Like, it wasn't just the Fire Lord, man. I think she was just born without the empathy gene. I don't know. Yeah, I know they went a bit further with this in the comics, you know? I know they tried to like redeem her. I know. I'm just talking about the content of the show, not really like what they went into with the comics. They did some comics exploring like the post shit. There were comic yeah. I don't think they were that bad. I only saw a few of them, not all of them. Ember Island exposed her as a giga autist too. It exposed her as like an actual sociopath. That it wasn't it's not just that she like thinks she has to do bad things to impress her dad or whatever. Like she actually is a sociopath. Like mentally she's compromised. Like it's a disability with her. Except she also has like firepower, so it's a problem, you know. We can extend more leeway to the psychopaths of the world if they don't have insanely OP blue fire powers, okay? That's my line, all right? If you're a psychopath, all right, you know, don't break the law, live and let live, whatever. You can live your life. I don't believe you should be locked up just for that. However, if you also have blue fire powers, that is the point where I think, you know, yeah, and you're the Fire Lord now. Okay. You know, I don't know. I think we should get the Rock out. Aang should have taken her bending away as well, lol. She deserved ever bending taken away more than fucking... Wait, did they take her bending away in the comics? Why didn't Aang take her bending away? Are you telling me she deserved getting it back? There's no fucking way. Fucking, she's crazier than Ozai. No, they didn't. Aang should have just taken the Aang should have been a tyrant, man. You couldn't trust me with the role of the Avatar, gifted with the wisdom of the dragon turtle. Okay, I would have been taking the bending away from everyone, even like remotely, and it would like remotely. I would have been like Amon before Amon. You know, like he was just blood bending. I would have been divinely yeeting your fucking bending abilities. That's probably true, Eliza Lee. Well, life's hard, Verde. You would completely justify Amon and Zahir. Legend of Korra is a bitch-ass pussy show because it backed out of acknowledging the fact that Amon and Zahir had good-ass points. What was their... They keep doing this, man. This is such a classic villain thing, where they're like, we're going to introduce like a revolutionary leader who turns out to be a villain because they're evil, and this person will ostensibly have a good point and a good cause to fight for, but we're never going to address the point. Like, Amon was kind of cooking a little bit. I don't know. Like, we never see really any discrimination against non-benders, and that's a flaw in the writing. There would be. Bro, there is canonically racial discrimination in the Avatar universe. You're telling me there isn't discrimination between the people who can fucking throw 8-ton rocks and people who can't? Are you like, you're really telling me like, that guy's got a different skin color, get him? But then like, no line at all between, yeah, I have like the power of fucking fire god in my hands and just a regular dude? No fucking way. I'm leaving aside the employment discrimination alone. You'd think there'd be a bunch of jobs that you couldn't get unless you were a bender. If you're not an earthbender, sorry, fucko. Like, there's like a million jobs with the land you're not getting, like, for obvious reasons. Also, you just suck shit. They show that. They don't really, like, engage with it that much, you know? They don't really engage with it that much. The closest we get is, whatever. The closest we get is Sokka, who feels inadequate because he can't bend, but like he ends up being perfectly competent anyway because he gets a sick-ass meteorite sword and a boomerang and everything. He does plenty of cool stuff. You had to be a specific kind of earthbender to be a cop. Yeah, all the cops in fucking the Korra City thing, whatever, Empire, so whatever it was called. All the cops had to be metalbenders. They never, Republic City, thank you. Yeah, they never discussed that. They had such a good setup for it too, given lightning benders powered the city. Could you imagine if they went on strike? It was genuinely a flaw in the writing that it never got examined. Like, I forgive them for not really getting into it with Avatar The Last Airbender, because Avatar The Last Airbender wasn't really about, like, exploring the internal conflicts within a society. It was about repairing the world from the invasion of an empire. Like, it wasn't... But, like, Korra was in one place, man. The whole thing was about, like, inequality between benders and non-benders, and they just don't engage with it at all. And same with Zahir. Zahir was completely correct, okay? Fuck everyone else. Zahir should have finished the job with Korra, okay? Honestly. Toph being a cop is the most anti-Toph thing to do. I actually disagree with that. A bunch of people think it's out of character for Toph to go cop. I disagree completely, because being like an authoritarian, burlish, like, I'm gonna bully people into agreeing with me thing is completely in line, both with her and being a cop, you know? She loves bossing people around. She adores it. Everyone thinks that, like, Toph is some kind of principled anarchist because she rejects authority. Wrong, idiot. She rejects authority over her. That's not... Toph is not established as like a phenomenal egalitarian person. She's pretty selfish and you know, like domineering. Like, what she would want, that was the thing that made the most sense to me. Everyone else is like, nah, she couldn't be a cop because she didn't like people bossing her around. Yeah, that's like every high school bully goes into the cop thing. Like, that's the pipeline, you know? Yeah, she became the Melon Lord. You fucking dork-ass losers. Okay, let's do politics. Can we please move on? Hey, quick search for everyone who's used the phrase move on or next segment and permanently ban. God. Yeah, Toph would have joined the IDF, is what I'm saying. Can we agree the beginnings was trash? The beginning of the stream? Yeah, they always are. You got to warm up into it. Kuvira redemption was insane. Last point that I'm going to make. It is genuinely wild to me that of the 4 primary villains of Korra, you have like a revolutionary leader, a religious, like an orthodox religious fundamentalist, an anarchist, accelerationist, and then finally a literal obvious fascist. And of those 4, it's the fascist that gets the redemption point at the last bit, where her hair gets let down, and Korra saves her, and she's like, oh, I regret my way. Like, of the 4 villains they could have, revolutionary leader, orthodox fundamentalist, anarchist, and fascist. That last one, it's not even remotely a joke or exaggeration. If you haven't seen Korra, what I'm describing to you right now is completely correct, with no, like, there's like fucking Wikipedia would agree with me on this description, okay? Doesn't Zahir get a positive arc when Korra goes to him in the spirit realm? Well, I mean, that's just because Zahir's a good guy. Zahir is nice to her to begin with because he's not full of hate, And the only good treatment Zahir got in the last season was Korra visited him when he was in prison. Man lost his loved one right in front of him, learned how to fly from the grief, and they locked him in a cage in the ground. And the redemption he gets is Korra going to him and being like, hey, I need to hey, you're an anarchist, you hate fascists, right? Like, I need to deal with a fascist. Can you help me? And he's like, okay. And that was it. They should have let him free. Unironically, save season 4, they should have let him free. They should have let him free. And he should have helped in the fight against Kuvira. And he should have killed her too, like he did the Earth Queen. That would have been good shit right there. That would have been fucking perfect. Absolutely. Oh, that would have been free my man. Man loves killing Earth Kingdom leaders. He loves that shit. I mean, you have to take into consideration his actions directly led to Kuvira's rise. I think that's true, but I also think that was like the choice of the writers, right? Like, the writers chose to make that the case. They wanted a big new villain rising up in season 4. It made sense that the instability in the Earth Kingdom would lead, but like, it could have gone another way entirely. It could have been like Zahir was like thoughtful and planned it out and killed the Earth Queen, but there were like underlying insurgent movements that took power afterwards, and now there was like a confederation that was leading the Earth Kingdom. The writers chose to make anarchy lead to instability, and I think they did him dirty. No, I agree it wasn't a completely unjustified writing choice, John Paul. I agree that like that could have happened. I just want him to be treated better. That would have been so good, Flavier. Honestly, I would have even been happy if Korra at the end had like had to talk Zahir down from killing Kuvira. Like, maybe they beat Kuvira and Zahir is like, all right, gonna fucking kill another Earth Kingdom bitch, and like grabs her by the hair and leads her over to a town square in Republic City. And Korra's like, no, 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 no. And like the like very final conflict of it is like trying to stop Zahir from doing a public execution. Come on, would that not have fucked? Even if Korra had won the argument, would that not have fucked? That would have been really good. As a final argument, that would have been very good. Like that being the last, like, a conflict arc. Especially considering how strong Zahir is, too. So it wouldn't just be, like, talking, he could fight her out. Yeah, how about a little bit of ideology, huh? In this story that keeps threatening to engage with ideology, but then fails at the last minute time and time again? What if we, like, talked it out a little bit? What if Zahir made a compelling argument? What if Zahir was like, literally, look at her. She was about to destroy Republic City. She's a fascist. Like, why should I not? Tell me why I shouldn't. And maybe like Korra would have to like argue like, my predecessor Aang didn't kill the Fire Lord Ozai, but instead thought that taking her bending away was a better blah blah blah. And then it's like, well, I can't take her bending away. She's strong. Well, why don't you arrest her? Well, we could arrest her. We could fucking kill her. I don't know. What if the show was about something? I think it's like unironically an indication of the ideological regression of Korra over The Last Airbender, that when Aang was deliberating whether or not he should have killed Fire Lord Ozai, he talks to his past lives, and the Earth woman, the Earth Kingdom woman, I forget her name, is like, hey, you should kill him. Hello, it is me, Kyoshi. Thank you. It's me, Kyoshi. I lived for 200 years and basically de facto ruled the world during my life. You should kill him. I would kill him. You should kill him. Kill that guy. And you know what? The show never presents that as a bad idea. It shows that Aang is personally uncomfortable with it, but it's not like her vision fades and Aang is like, "Wow, she was crazy" or whatever. Like they don't do that, you know? I feel like that's a more mature acknowledgement of the, I guess, capital option uh than anything Korra did. Even the last Air Avatar also said Ozai had to die. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So, like a moral case for murder. I mean, considering the fact that the person that he was fighting was uh, literally, at the time of their fighting, engaged in a continental genocide of the Earth Kingdom, I think that, like, yeah, a little bit. Like, he was like double Hitler, man. Like, he was like Hitler, except instead of Hitler, like, leading Germany, he had a magical ability that let him shoot, like, Auschwitz Cyclone B gas out of his hand, and he was flying over all of Eastern Europe with a blimp and firing it out of his hand. You know, I feel like in that instance, it would actually be okay to go up and kill him to stop him. They shouldn't have pussied out at the end. I think it's fine that they took his bending away. I don't think that was bad at all. It perfectly fit Aang's character. People say it's a bit of an ass pull, but, you know, the dragon turtle is like a legendary figure. I don't think that's pussying out at all. What I think is pussying out is giving Kuvira a moment of redemption. They didn't give Ozai a moment of redemption, did they? At the end, after Ozai has his bending taken away, he doesn't go, "Now that I've had my powers taken away, I realize life is precious." Like they don't do that. He just tries to swing at Aang and then like falls over. Which is good. Like that's more in character. Do you think the Fire Kingdom could have held the Earth Kingdom? No, no, no. I think it was like irrational in the way that fascism so often is. I don't think it was like a credible long-term occupation. It was just a lot of people would have died, you know? Also, Aang would definitely have killed him if he couldn't have taken his bending away. Blazing Roach, I think that is an amazing point. I think that is a phenomenal point. If Aang was never given another option, I genuinely think he would have killed Ozai. I genuinely think that, yes. I don't think he would have run away a second time. But that goes against his pacifist nature. I think he would have listened to his Air Avatar past self, who said like sometimes personal moral conviction has to be set aside for the greater good. And I think like that would have been the correct option, and I think he would have done it. I think it would have made him really sad, but I think he would have done it. Yang Chen, thank you. Aang even says pre-Lion Turtle, "I guess I have to kill the Fire Lord." Yeah, he would have. He for sure would have, you know? And he would have had to make peace with that, I guess. No, I mean if he couldn't take the bending away, KY Progressive. Like if he was never given that ability or taught that ability. Yeah, but because he knew he had another option, Mechmite. I don't think so, Vosh, because he almost redirected lightning and chose not to. Man, all of this is just making me want to rewatch the fucking show because that is one of the, like, unironically, one of the best moments in animated, like, in any fight where Ozai fucks up and fires lightning at Aang and he successfully redirects it because Zuko taught him how to. And you see Ozai, like, a fucking look terrified for a second when he realizes that, like Zuko, Aang has the ability to redirect it, and he was this close to dying in an instant before he chooses to fire it in the sky. Fuck, it's such a good show, man. Holy shit. Yeah, he didn't know. Like, no one could do that except for fucking Iroh, Zuko, and Aang. Those were the only people who could do it. Yeah, that makes sense, Flavier. I mean, honestly, that like internal turmoil could have fueled a whole other like season of angst, you know, but it's so good. It also confirms to Ozai that Zuko followed through and taught Aang to end him. Yeah, in a way, it's almost like yeah, because like the horror on Ozai's face isn't just I'm about to die, but like my son gave him the tool to kill me, like knowing he would fight me. Like Zuko knew that Aang would fight me, and so taught me this ability that he knew would be useful against me. So good. So good. All right, we really should stop though. Honestly, at this point, we're just like gushing. I'm just gushing, and I'm not ashamed to gush. By the way, not even remotely. I will always hold, much in the same way that I'll always defend. I don't know, like Super Mario Galaxy. The Last Airbender is one of those like all ages pieces of media that I'll defend quality wise, like easy 10 out of 10. Like you should just like everyone should see it or play it or whatever the fuck. It's just that good, you know. I've watched Mob Psycho Mint Macau, and read it. Oh, is Super Mario Galaxy good? I don't know. Is water good for you? What do you want? Okay, look, we've done this for so long. I need to pee, but then it's all politics when I get back. You like that? We got all the stun locking done right away. You know, right away. I'm not used to wearing shirts that are this tight, but I feel like they're a better fit than the extra large. I think this is correct. I need to get used to it is all. I just have a hard time with the t-shirt sizing sometimes because I've always had really wide shoulders, like proportionately, you know? But I don't want it to like drape too much over the back. Galaxy or Odyssey? I don't think Super Mario Odyssey is that good. Sure, it looks nice. What fabric is this? It's a cotton hemp blend. I don't think Super Mario Odyssey is that good. Super Mario Odyssey is like a collectathon with pretenses at a platformer. 98% of the content in it is like brain dead. We're introducing a new audience of 6-year-olds to the Mario brand on the Switch bullshit. I don't respect it, you know? Um, they're very differently structured. Yeah, in the sense that one of them is structured well, and the other one is like a grab bag of unfulfilling, useless challenges that you have to run around doing bullshit to accomplish. That's not like fun or satisfying. The greatest it's I think it says a lot that the hardest challenge in all of Super Mario fucking Odyssey is the 100 jump rope challenge. And like most of your time will be spent if you're trying to do completionist stuff, as I was, finding where the challenge is. It's like a hide and seek game rather than the actual platforming. I enjoyed the big platforming gauntlet at the end, like on the moon, the dark side of the moon or whatever. Um, the hardest challenge, the dark side of the moon. Nah, it wasn't that hard. A Hat in Time was super good though. A Hat in Time is maybe the best third person 3D platformer of the past decade, I would say. A Hat in Time is superlatively good. It is really, really good. It is so good. Wonder what that studio is up to right now. A Hat in Time. Are they going to make a Hat in Time 2? Or I should wipe my save file on A Hat in Time just to do it all over again, man. I never beat all of the Shadow Man challenges. That shit is hard. Ooh, that shit is hard. Ooh, 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 that's hard. Ooh. Developers, Gears for breakfast. Okay, what are you up to? Gears for breakfast. This website uses cookies. Okay. Games. A Hat in Time. Really? That's it? A Hat in Time plus the 2 DLCs with the incredibly hot Mafia Don Cat boss? And published games. Dude, you made $1 billion from A Hat in Time. What are you doing? Honestly, they deserve to chill. A Hat in Time was so good. Both of the DLCs were so good. They should just chill. They should literally just retire. Fuck it. Spend the rest of your life on an island sipping margarita, you know? Whatever. You already won, man. You came out with like one fucking game and it was the best platformer, you know? Seattle police chief just resigned. No kidding. I wonder if this has anything to do with the public backlash to when they hit that one college student at 70 miles an hour, and then that one guy with the body cam got the one cop was like, she wasn't an important person anyway, or whatever.
Hey, our top story, Adrian Diaz is no longer
pretty bad.
chief.
Sorry about the audio. You know, we love our autoplay news sites. Thank you, King 5.
The Seattle Police Department. King 5 has confirmed the news with a senior commander at SPD. Let's get right to King 5's Natalie Swaby with what we know so far. Natalie.
Well, we are about an hour away from a news conference with Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell. The mayor's office says he will be making a major public safety announcement. Now, King 5 has been able to confirm that Adrian Diaz is out as chief. We've also learned he will be reassigned to a different role. We're working.
Classic cop behavior. Classic cop behavior. No one ever leaves. Everyone just gets reassigned. Seattle has had 7 police chiefs since 2000. Jesus Christ. What about the mayor's statement?
Chief Adrian Diaz will be stepping aside to work on special assignments, and Chief Sue Rohrer will serve as...
This guy's got some, like, Batman Gotham phrenology, don't you think? Like, don't you think this guy would look perfect showing up on a TV to be... you know, police chief or like in the mayor's office or whatever? He just has that look to him.
Start off by talking about Chief Diaz and the leadership that he's demonstrated to the city of Seattle.
Wait, is this live?
Under Chief Diaz's leadership, our police services met all but 2 of the federal consent decree provisions, and progress on the remaining 2, discipline, accountability.
It says live, but it doesn't have a red dot. Usually red dot means that it's actually live.
Together, we've launched a dual dispatch pilot with the new CARE department that I think many of you have followed. We've signed a new contract with the Seattle Police Officers Union and implemented a new recruitment and retention path. I'll rattle a few statistics that demonstrates Chief Diaz's leadership. Right now, homicide year over year is down 44%. Total reported crime is down 5%. Since the SPOG contract was approved, we've been receiving around 17 to 19 applications a day. And at the same time...
Wait, you're still getting Wait. You don't have somebody lined up? Wait, hold on. Okay, listen. I don't have much experience. Maybe what you need is a bold new direction for the Seattle Police Department. Claims alleging sexual harassment, sexual racial discrimination from department leaders. Diaz was accused by multiple employees in lawsuits and tort claims. He denied the allegations, of course. I know, Rube. God, I'm never gonna get to do anything. Berman, I'm closing the door. You can't open it. I'm sorry. I have work. I love Ruben, man, but boy does he yap. I couldn't sleep last night. Meow, wow. Meow, wow. Yeah, he wants the job. Assistant chief was put on administrative leave like a week ago. $5 million claim against the city.
Well, Mary, there is an active outside investigation amidst these complaints that circle around the police chief and his top lieutenant, John O'Neill. And these women have stepped forward because they say the chief cannot, and they have attacked the now multiple accusers.
Full screen is unavailable. Okay.
And it's those ones that are disgruntled.
They are three women who are often outspoken.
These are people that we do not need in the department.
Carmen Martinez, Reverend Harriet Walden, and Victoria Beach.
Who the fuck are these people? Police chief supporters? And it's just three women on the street being like, yeah, those women are hussies. They probably like offered it up and just got mad when they said no. Like, who are these people? Just like finding them off the street? What is this propaganda bullshit? The SPD continues to struggle with staffing, down more than 345 officers at last count, according to Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson, despite the city offering major signing bonuses and a massive back time pay increase. It's not surprising to me that they're having staffing shortages in SPD because people here fucking hate the police. The Seattle Police Department has a terrible reputation, and what's more, as is often the case with major cities, a lot of the police come from suburbs outside of the city, you know? You have these thick-necked white boys from adjacent neighborhoods who then like are brought in downtown to go like, I don't know, poke the homeless people with sticks or whatever. Second only to Portland. Yeah, Portland also has a bad reputation for this. It's it's pretty bad. I'm not surprised, you know, being a police officer, the woke mob's going to come for me for this one. Being a police officer is not an easy job. You know, much in the same way, I don't think it's necessarily an easy job to be a member of the IDF. I mean, I imagine that they have to, like, I don't know, there's probably some stressors involved. There are easier jobs out there. But, like, a lot of the difficulties here are kind of self-inflicted. Wait, transitory, is that true? Wait. SPD had more officers at Jan 6 than any other police department? Is that true? I don't know if that's true. Let me see if I can get it confirmed. I would love a confirmation on that. I would love to confirm my priors so much. Please. Oh my fucking God. Seattle Police Department had the most officers in DC and Gen 6. Guys, SPD is nowhere near as large as LAPD or NYPD. The fact that SPD, despite Seattle being a significantly smaller city than LA or New York City, is fucking insane. Oh my God. It's one of the like wacky little quirky, you know, details of Oregon and Washington in particular, where the cities in these states are like 90% blue, and then out in the east nearer to Idaho, it's all Hitlerite territory, you know? It's all Hitlerite shit. And a lot of the cops come from there. Or at least spiritually do. Over 30 police officers are under investigation for their presence at the Stop the Steal rally. 6 Seattle police? Oh my God! 6? Guys, Seattle is not only a much smaller city than like Chicago, New York, LA, it's on the other side of the country. It's the farthest city you can get from DC, basically. It's all the way in the northwest corner of the country. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, Alaska, all right. LA is farther? You know, barely. Yeah, and only 2 were fired. I bet. How great. Yeah, the Cascadian cities used to be Nazi strongholds, I think. Yeah, 100%. Jesus Christ. Well, and that would have been under Diaz. the police chief.
Yeah, Preston, and all of this comes as the Seattle police chief, Adrian Diaz, is accused by multiple women of harassment.
Oh, right. That's the other one. We looked over that before. Whatever, man. It's a disgusting fucking department. East Oregon is also pretty cringe. They're trying to join Idaho. The Greater Idaho movement is completely... They have this for both Washington and Oregon, by the way. And it's like, we don't want to be a part... You know, over here in, like, prepper Hitlerite territory, we don't want to be a part of the woke state of Oregon or Washington. We actually want to join Idaho, which is anti-woke. Like, just so you understand, as of May 2024, 13 counties in Oregon had approved ballot measures in favor of Greater Idaho. This isn't like the Texan independence thing where it's never going to happen. There are legitimately like county ballots that consistently win the majority vote for these counties where they're like, yeah, we'd rather be a part of Idaho because then it would be less woke than being in Oregon. It's the same for Washington. Yeah, they want to move the state around them. They can't do that, can they? I mean, theoretically, you could alter the borders of states. You would just need both. Yeah, need approval from the state legislators of both Oregon and Idaho, as well as federal Congress. So it's not going to happen. But it's crazy that they want it that badly. Man, look at these support measures. 74% in Lake County? What's the population of Lake County? 8,000 people in the entire fucking county. Great. Yeah. All right, well, good luck to the city I live in, I suppose. All right, we needed to do all that waffling so that I could sort of like psychically prepare myself for this one. This one caught me by surprise. Maybe real Tim heads, real beanies, were keeping up on the, you know, like the itinerary, so they knew that President Trump would show up on the Timcast. I didn't know that. You know, I was blindsided by it a little bit. Pretty crazy. In person, by the way, no Skype call. So you have this whole live stream VOD here. He joins in at the last bit. I haven't seen it. I want to see, you know. I'm rooting for Tim. For Timmy, we call, you know, with his friends call him Timmy. It's pretty wild.
On Twitter. Thanks so much for this conversation. Hi, President Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Donald J. Trump.
Okay. I would slightly preemptive there. Mr. President,
Good. Mr. President, this is your seat we have for you right here.
Why did they do that before? What if it was all just a dream?
How are you? I'm very good. Nice to see you. We met at Mar-a-Lago a couple weeks ago.
I remember.
Yeah, you complimented my face. I really do appreciate it.
Your beauty.
Thanks for...
I'm sorry. Just a moment.
How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to see you. We met at Mar-a-Lago a couple weeks ago.
I remember.
Yeah, you complimented my face. I really do appreciate it.
Your beauty.
Thanks for sitting down. I really do appreciate it. So I know you don't have a lot of time, so I'll just we'll jump right in.
Okay, good.
We had a couple polls we went over on the show, on our show, IRL. Young people, surprisingly, immigration is a top issue for them now. I was talking to a young guy, he's 26. He says he's watching what's going on in New York. He owns a business.
His suits hang on him like garbage bags. Trump has lost a lot of weight. He does not look good. You know, I know, like, obviously he was too fat before, but because he's very, very, very old, losing weight kind of gives the, like, deflating sack of skin vibe a little bit. Ozempic, he's on Ozempic for sure. Maybe, I don't know. It's the hot new thing, right? It's the new big thing. Yeah, and his suits were too big for him before he got in the Ozempic too. That is true. Yeah.
He can't afford to buy his own house. He struggles to be able to support a family. And I know that you've said that there's going to be the largest deportation effort in your next term. How do we do it?
So millions and millions of people are coming into our country, and it's not necessarily exactly what we want or had in mind. They have open borders where people just flow in. And many of those people are coming from prisons. Many of those people, frankly, are murderers and they're drug dealers, and they're coming from mental institutions, and they're coming from places that...
Is that true? Is there a significant portion of people coming up from the southern border who are escaped mental patient? Like, I know all of these claims, you know, source, right? I get it. But like, that's such a comic book way of understanding immigration. Could murderers be coming up and drug dealers? Sure. I mean, that's possible. Escaped mental patients. I don't know. That seems pretty wild to me.
are not going to work very well. It's not going to be very good for our country. So we're going to start with that, and we have to get them out. No country can sustain what we're going through.
Mexican Arkham Asylum broke open, you know? Bane, he's Mexican. Speedy Gonzalez in some kind of crossover. I don't know how many Mexican characters there are. Mexican Joker, that would go so fucking hard. That's what Joker really needs to up his color game. He needs some kind of like Aztec Mesoamerican color scheme, you know? Get my man a mask.
I believe the number is 15, 16 million, could even be 17 million people right now. That's more than that's bigger than almost all of our states.
I think it's freaking out young people. How do we do it, though? I mean, is it going to be new personnel? Do we...
Also, I'm not familiar with the polls they're referring to, but I haven't seen any evidence to indicate that young people in particular are especially concerned with immigration.
It will really be done with local police. You know,
adjusted down. Is he slouching?
Been taken away. The honor has been taken away from our police forces.
What are we doing?
They're not allowed to do anything. And whether it's libertarian or not libertarian, people have to have law and order. You can't have 500...
Libertarian or not libertarian, he just came from the Libertarian National Convention, didn't he? That's why that word is on his mind. So there were people there protesting him because they were calling him an authoritarian. So he's like, you know, those guys, whether you want that or you want this. Incidentally, by the way, he lost the Libertarian presidential... yeah, they rejected him and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They chose Chase Oliver, someone I don't know about and don't care about. You know, it's the Libertarian Party. So he went over there to get humiliated for a single speech. And then he lost.
People walking into a department store and just walking out with everything they have. And we have to give honor and respect back.
He's gay? Based. Democrats are actually less concerned with immigration. Yeah, anytime Tim Pool says something that like he sounds like he's referencing some kind of factual information or poll, I wouldn't trust it too much.
And I believe immunity because, you know, so often when a police person does their job, they end up with no pension. They end up with no house. They end up with no family. Everything's taken away from them. They have to get their own lawyer. So we're going to give them back their dignity and their strength. The local police know the criminals that we're talking about. They know.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I might have stroked out here. I'm very sorry.
And respect back and everything they have. And we have to give honor and respect back. And I believe immunity because, you know, so often when a police person does their job, they end up with no pension, they end up with no house, they end up with no family.
This happens so often. Yeah, this happens so frequently. Cops, the demographic most likely to be held accountable, police person. Why the gender neutral language, Trump? Yeah, okay, so he wants cops to have total immunity. He wants them to be able to do whatever they want with no threat to, from the law, which they kind of already have.
Everything's taken away from them. They have to get their own lawyer. So we're going to give them back their dignity and their strength. The local police know the criminals that we're talking about. They know their first name, their middle name, and their last name. They know everything about them.
What?
And we're going to have to let them do that. And they will bring them in. We have no choice. And these are in many cases, and this is from all over the world, not just South America, which is big enough.
What?
But they're coming in from the Congo. They're coming in from all parts of Africa.
What in the ever-loving fuck is genuinely? I can't even parse what that segue was. That wasn't even yapping. That was like I don't even understand what the point he was making there. I get he wants to give cops total immunity. Okay.
Coming in from all parts of Asia, and it's an invasion into our country, and no country can handle this. So we're going to have them taken out. Local police, we're going to work very closely with the local police, and it's been done before. We had Dwight Eisenhower, believe it or not, did the biggest deportation. He pretty much stopped it. Strange that we mentioned Eisenhower because you don't think of him that way, but he did a massive deportation where people were pouring in.
The next big question.
By the way, just a little bit of oh, hold on, youth poll. Harvard youth poll. Among 18 to 29-year-olds nationwide, the poll finds want a ceasefire for the Israel-Hamas conflict. Here, hold on. Where's the immigration data? Most young Americans believe there's a crisis at the southern border. This is true, by the way. The language, there's a crisis in the southern border, that is correct. That is true. You can acknowledge that while also not being like without like fear-mongering about immigration. At the same time, youth believe immigrants improve American culture. A majority, 53% of young Americans, including at least a plurality of every significant subgroup, believe that the U.S. is experiencing an immigration crisis at the southern border. Only 16% disagree with this nation. Despite that, young Americans oppose construction of a border wall. 36% support, 45% oppose, and believe by wide margins that immigrants improve the culture of the U.S. They disagree with the idea that immigrants increase crime in my community and that they take jobs that should go to Americans instead. Nice. I just don't think young people are that concerned about immigration. Not the way old people are. No one in America is as concerned about the southern border as like rural or suburban white women in Ohio, you know, who have never in their life met a Mexican. Like that is the demographic most terrified of the border crisis. The closer you are to it, you know, or at the very least, like the more, I guess, worldly you are, the less of an issue it is, because it's almost entirely a constructed fear-mongering.
Question that we get a lot is there's two components to this. The first is many of the libertarians here, we want to see firings. We want to see in the bureaucracy corrupt.
Is Tim Pool still doing the like I'm a libertarian bit, even though he's agreed with basically every authoritarian crackdown, like on a cultural and legal level? He's still doing that bit? Okay, cool. It's good to know he's still playing the classics.
I agree.
Individuals, the bloat. On top of that, without getting into the specifics for obvious reasons.
I just realized that he's not wearing his trademark gray beanie. He's wearing his dressy black beanie for the occasion. He's wearing like a black shirt and a black t-shirt with a black shirt over it and a black beanie to like, I don't know, look like a waiter at a skate park.
The things that they're doing to you with the court system is not just to you, it is to me. It is to everyone who voted for you in 2020.
It's true.
Are we going to get some good personnel in as Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and in the CIA?
What kind of question is this, man? Hey, if you're president, will you appoint a cabinet? No, I think he'll keep Biden's cabinet. Actually, he'll be the first president ever to do that.
Right.
And see some prosecutions.
So we had some great people because our trade numbers were fantastic. The jobs we did on trade, the jobs.
Also, you can't like Donald Trump isn't in charge of prosecutions. Like that's the you know, whether or not the Justice Department makes that case, that's like a whole other thing. I mean, it's like a meaningless, like vague virtue signaling kind of question.
Did frankly in the military underneath the terrible television generals who were absolutely terrible, but we have incredible people. You know, we defeated ISIS, and we had no new wars because they were concerned with us. I had no wars at all. I finished off a war that we were in for 20 years. But
he kicked the can down the road and failed to end the occupation in Afghanistan because he was terrified of the electoral consequences. He continued to escalate the drone war, making strikes indiscriminately in many countries, both of which ended under Biden, by the way. Biden ended the war in Afghanistan. Biden ended the drone war effectively, or at least massively scaled it back.
We had no wars. And we have to get the right people. It's all about the people. So when I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times in my life. All of a sudden, I'm president. And I really knew nobody. I relied on people. Some were good, some were rhinos, some gave us some bad advice. And generally speaking, we had very good people. But we had some that we have to do better. Attorney General, we have to get a great Attorney General. And I'd work with the Libertarian Party on that.
Is he going after Barr here? I guess he is. Remember, AG Barr under Trump was considering bringing sedition charges against Black Lives Matter protesters. Like they were fully considering, you know, what if we just arrested like 100 million people or whatever, you know? He hates Barr now. No, I know. It's just like Barr was a fucking lunatic. You know, they just weren't the right kind of lunatic. They were two freaks who didn't vibe with each other, you know?
I think it's very good because, you know, I view the Libertarian Party as almost a party of common sense, largely of common sense. And I say that about the Republican Party, too. We're a party of common sense. You want borders, but you want fairness. You want a lot of things.
No, libertarians shouldn't want borders. That's like the main thing they shouldn't want. Yeah, man, I'm a libertarian. I oppose like state overreach. Also, I think states should get to draw a hard line in the ground that arbitrarily designate, you know, where people can go in their lives, and all the rules that you follow will be like dictated by our monopoly on violence within this area. Yeah, man, I'm a libertarian. Yeah, man, we're libertarian guys. Of course we believe 90% of our limited tax dollars should go towards the military, police, and border patrol.
That a lot of other people don't talk about. So we will work
all
with
the NL bits.
a lot
Let me
of
have
people
fun
to get the right people in. The difference is I now know sort of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not having to be relying on. I now know sort of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not having to be relying on.
I'm sorry, is there a crowd of people outside Tim Pool's skate park dungeon compound? What is that? Dana.
People that I didn't know very well and listen to their recommendations. And I think we're going to have phenomenal people. I know the people. I know the good ones, the bad ones.
He's streaming from the convention. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. I thought they had... That explains the dressy beanie as well. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, they got him in a booth for a second. So what they're picking up there, that's the convention out there. So this would have been like just a little bit after... He did that speech out there, I imagine. I doubt he would have done this before. Maybe he did it before.
The ones, the weak ones, the strong ones. I think we're going to have great people.
We're friends with Kash Patel. He was on the show just before you, and that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Well, Kash is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's an example of a good one.
Yep.
We have some great people, but Kash was a great example. Devin Nunes, as you know, he's fantastic.
Absolutely.
We have so many great people.
So when it came to foreign policy, I'll be honest, I didn't vote for you in 2016. I was jaded. Obama let me down. I'm from Chicago. I thought 2016 was silly. And then in 2020, with the timeline for getting out of Afghanistan,
right,
when you tried to get our troops out of Syria, my question is, why are we in Syria? Who even knew?
Yeah.
And they lied to you, and they lied to us about the number of troops in there. And so maybe it's a bit blunt for me to say I want to see people prosecuted for the lies of the American people.
I don't know. What is he talking about? Trump didn't know how many troops were in Syria. I don't know what he's talking about specifically. It's old stuff. Yeah, he likes to bring out the old hats. The funny thing is that Trump just took credit for defeating ISIS, but a huge part of our involvement in defeating ISIS had to do with our troops in Syria. Like, you can't take credit for defeating ISIS or like helping to defeat ISIS when it was our guys with the Rojavans who did a ton of that work. You know, like those are kind of the same. You know, we're lined up here.
But in terms of foreign policy, perhaps it's a little bit of a biased interview, but I think you're the greatest president of my lifetime.
Yeah, glazing.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And
I like the pause afterwards too, like he's waiting for the good boy points, the GBP, you know, that he can use to buy tendies after.
The wars that we should not have been involved in. Now the fear
gag
is World War
reflex
III.
is missing.
Yeah.
The
What are
gag
you looking
reflex
at when
is
you enter
nowhere
your
to
next
be
term
found.
to stopping the escalation?
Well, first of all, I'm the only one that is going to stop World War III because this man can't put two sentences together. He doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know where he is.
No lies detected.
And amazingly, it seems like he's going to be running. You know, it's a lot of people say, do you think he'll make it to the starting gate? Well, we'll see what happens. But if you look at Viktor Orban, because we don't want to see wars. I don't want to see wars. I was in no wars other than we finished a war with ISIS and we completed it.
You continued the occupation of Afghanistan and the drone strikes and okay, whatever.
100% complete. But I don't want to see wars. I think it's so horrible, so unnecessary, so costly in terms of lives and money in that order, and destroying these countries. You know, you're destroying culture. When you look at Ukraine, that would have never happened if I were president. You look at the October 7th attack on Israel, it would have never happened.
Why are...
He loves doing, he loves never elaborating too on when he says stuff like this. He's just like, yeah, like by sheer psychic force, I would have willed it to not happen, you know? From the Astronomicon, my like will from the throne, I would have simply like suppressed the violent intentions of the Russians and of Hamas. It's like how would you have prevented it in any way? Of course, like in reality, by the way, if Trump had been president, so October 7th would have happened no matter what. But I think it would have happened exactly the same way. But with Trump as president, the past term, I think that not only would the Russian invasion of Ukraine have happened, but Trump would have basically defended it. And he definitely would not have contributed to giving weapons to Ukraine. This guy, like Trump's campaign was just like saturated with Russian influence in 2016. It's not a conspiracy theory, you know, in spite of its consistent discrediting, the Senate Intel Committee published extensive information on the degree of collaboration and infiltration and corruption in that line. You know, like I fully think that Ukraine would have been conquered by now. You know, there would be no war currently with Russia and Ukraine because Russia would have won by now.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
What the fuck does this even mean, bring the jobs back? That like Trump tried this. He had 4 years to do it. He didn't do it. He didn't bring any manufacturing back to that. He brought like 20,000 jobs or something. He brought nothing. It's not a real thing. That's not a real thing.
What is that?
He lost more jobs than he
I
gained.
think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that. You can talk in such a way where they respect you and they listen to you.
You want to talk to the Houthis? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm open to the idea. Yeah, no, go. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. We're gonna. It's gonna be like outflanking from the left in his pursuit of being perceived as like an isolationist. He's going to make friends with the Houthis. It's gonna be great. Didn't he give arms to the Saudis to do that in Yemen? Yes. Yes. There's no consistent underlying ideology here. That was one of the most consistent features of the Trump administration is big talk, but he was never competent enough to actually do anything differently. So a lot of the stuff he just kept status quo. He was never, that I think is one of the reasons why Project 2025 was being laid out by Republican operatives early. It's because they want to lay the groundwork in case Trump does win, because they know that if he wins without any kind of like prior preparedness, they wouldn't be able to capitalize on his victory because he's not competent enough to quickly change course, you know? He just kind of goes with the flow and accepts status quo. Think of it a little bit like Elon Musk. You know how Elon Musk has yapped his goddamn mouth off about how he's going to change Twitter, and now Twitter is basically the same except worse? Like, a lot of the more substantial changes that he promised never happened because he was just saying things. He was never competent or disciplined enough to actually, like, shift the direction of the site in any meaningful way, apart from it being, like, less well maintained, you know? That's kind of the deal here.
Viktor Orban of Hungary, you know, the leader, they call him a strong man. Who cares if he's a strong man or not a strong man? He's a very powerful guy. He said the problem...
Listen, strong man or no, you have to give Orban credit. He is a strong man. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? What are you... you can't, like, is he a strong man? Is he not a strong man? I don't know. I just know he's a strong man. This is with the Libertarian Conference too. Everyone was like, no dictator Trump, and he's like, yeah, well, you know.
The problem the world has is that Donald Trump is no longer president. When he was president, China didn't play around, Russia didn't play around, nobody played around, and we had no problems. Today, the whole world is on fire.
I heard that.
We had unicorns. There were leprechauns around every street corner.
Funny, there's a conversation from a phone call where you said that there was they maybe thought there was a 5% chance you'd nuke them.
That's wow.
And so it kept them in line. It's kind of scary to think about, but you take a look at the weakness we have now with...
Wait. I love you, Trump, because you're an isolationist who doesn't get us involved in foreign wars, but also I'm glad that there was an implicit threat that you would nuke the nuclear-armed... What are these guys? There's no consistency at all! At all! It's like, yeah, man, all these other Republicans, these rhinos and Democrats just want, like, you know, foreign conquest and they keep the perpetual war going. Now me, big boy Trump, what I do is I threaten nuclear Armageddon. That's how you keep peace. What do you... They're not saying anything. They're just yapping. These limp-dicked signifiers towards isolationism and libertarian values when you're an expansionist fascist, it has to get tiring, right? Do you think Tim Pool ever gets tired of the bit? Where it's like, hey, as a libertarian who loves freedom, here's 57 consecutive pro-war, like, brutish, domineering, strongman fascist talking points? Like it's got to get tiring, right? Trump nearly started a war with Iran at the start of 2020 when he assassinated Soleimani. Motherfucker did nothing when the Saudis butchered our journalist, you know? Man, Trump is so big and scary. Saudi Arabia sure was quaking in their boots over the consequences of that one.
Ukraine and the money that we are wasting. You know, I'll bring it back to the economy. This young guy I was talking to about immigration. Actually, I'll put it this way. There's a viral video where a young man screaming that we're sending hundreds of billions to a country no one's ever heard of.
Right.
And young people.
Ukraine? You haven't heard about Ukraine? Skill issue, personally, I have heard of Ukraine before. Just saying.
People are hurting in this country. Do you see any direct economic policy that is on your list for 2025?
Direct economic, but also direct in terms of warfare. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars all around the world. But when you look at Ukraine, we're giving all of this money. Europe, which is much more affected by that war than us, is spending just a tiny fraction of what we're spending. And
this is actually not true. I'm pretty sure that relative to their economy and their defense spending, there are European countries that have contributed equivalently or more. It's just our contributions mean the most because we obviously have the largest economy and the largest defense spending, and also we have the best weapons by far. Is Poland beating us out in GDP per capita? Yeah. You know what country isn't? Fucking Hungary. You know, where's Orban at, huh? What about shared responsibility? Estonia is beating us as well. Okay, Estonia is a nation of 1 million people. What is their proportional defense spending? Okay, what did they give like one Makarov to Ukraine and like, oh yeah, we have contributed more proportional to our economy than the United States has? Like, come on, let's be real here.
Say, does anybody at least get involved in this? But more importantly, I will end that war. I'll get it ended. Putin respects me. Zelensky respects me. I know all the players, and I want to get that war.
Putin. I know Putin. I know Zelensky. I know all the guys. I know all of them.
War in it. It's a horrible war. It's a terrible. There's no good war, but that's a horrible war. And to think it would have never started. It would have never started if the election turned out like it should have turned out. That war would have never started. I mean, and you know, the number of lives we're talking about is far greater than the numbers that you hear. When they blow up a town, or when they blow up these buildings, these massive buildings, surprisingly, I mean, these are big. That was my business. These are big, powerful buildings.
Surprising? What the fuck is he talking about? Surprisingly? In Ukraine, you would expect all these buildings, you expect them to be little wooden shacks. It's actually they have big buildings there, big apartment buildings. What are you talking about? The Soviets loved building big apartment buildings, big powerful buildings. He loves his big powerful buildings.
And they come tumbling down to the ground, and they say nobody was injured. A lot of people were killed. Yeah. And the numbers are a lot different than you think. When you will see that happening. When those numbers really get announced, you're going to see it's much worse than people think.
Here at the Libertarian Party National Convention, they had
defense spending as a portion of GDP. Well, we're talking about donations to Ukraine, not just overall defense spending as a requirement of the NATO nations guidelines. Spain, you got to pick it up, man. Get on up here. Get on up here. Now that's kind of odd. Turkey is all the way down here, but Turkey has a pretty big military. Do they just not spend any money on it? Is Turkey's military just like, I don't know, a few dozen old jets and then 500 million dudes that they pay in baklava or whatever? Like they don't. How is their defense spending this low with their military size? Maybe inflation. Oh, it could be inflation. Yeah, it could just be like, yeah, we're actually paying our soldiers super well, and we last adjusted their pay in 2013. So now they're making like the equivalent of 8 cents per month. Maybe. Okay, yeah. Well, Greece is spending their money. You know, we're up here. Poland spends more than us. They've really ramped up their spending. You know, not surprised that Poland has ramped up their proportional defense spending to this level, considering what country they're next to, right?
At one of their, I believe one of their presidential nominees said he wants to see Fauci, the heads of Moderna, Pfizer, Biden,
RFK
and
Jr.
locked up for what happened during COVID. I don't agree with them, but there is a big sentiment. Elon Musk tweeted, prosecute Fauci. Fauci lied to Congress about the gain-of-function research that was...
I think it genuinely speaks to how shallow these conversations are and the level of these conversations. Tim Pool has to phrase everything as like, this other guy. You know what I mean? I was talking to this young guy who said X. Elon Musk tweeted Y. RFK Jr. said Z. You know, rather than just posing questions. It sounds so conversational in a bad way.
Was going on, and now we have testimony.
Well, I'm the one that stopped the funding, and this was funding from before me. I'm the one that stopped the funding. Fauci wasn't a big player in my administration like he was after I left. I mean, Biden made him the king of everything. And
this is not true. Fauci was doing his job at the beginning of COVID-19, which was at the end of Donald Trump's presidency. Like they were right there together, you know? Like, this is just a complete rewriting of history. Donald Trump desperately wants people to think of COVID lockdowns and vaccines as a Biden thing when both of those were under him. Operation Warp Speed, the pushing out of mRNA vaccines so quickly, that was Donald Trump. The lockdowns, Those happened under Donald Trump. Bringing Fauci on to like lead national like policy and discourse on the issue, to lead the country in the time, like that was Donald Trump. But he wants to rewrite history and make everybody think this was a Biden thing. It wasn't. This is what I mean by Donald Trump talks a big game, but because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, everything falls back to status quo politics. A pandemic breaks out, so who do you bring on stage? Dr. Fauci, obviously. It's literally his job. Only in retrospect would Donald Trump realize this was a bad move for the culture war, right? He wasn't forward thinking enough. So he did the status quo thing, and now he's pretending that he wasn't. And actually it was Biden who did the status quo thing with Fauci. Biden made Fauci the chief medical advisor to the president at the start of his presidency. Yeah, before even COVID. Established in 2019, the position's been vacant since 2022 when Anthony Fauci stepped down. This was a position created by Donald Trump. Like, he made the... Oh, my apologies. This person was not Fauci to begin with. This person was Donald Trump's weirdo quack physician. Remember? The one who kept giving us updates on how, like, he was in perfect health or whatever, and since then a lot of dispersion has been cast on his job. It was Biden who made Anthony Fauci this guy, though it was a position created by the White House in tandem with Trump, like, bringing Fauci on to lead the discourse on COVID-19. He was such a quack, yeah.
And if you take a look at that, Fauci was not the big player with me that he was. And in fact, I did things that he didn't want to do.
See, embarrassed, rewriting history.
He wanted to keep it open to China. I said, you got to close it to China because it was all coming out of China. It was coming out of Wuhan, which I said right at the beginning. But the other thing is, and what people don't realize, I believe in federalism. I gave the power.
He's using these words because he's at the Libertarian Convention. It's almost like listening to me talk right now and noticing that I've been watching Northern Lion stream lately. You know, and like, and suddenly a whole bunch of like new terms and pointers he's adding in are
to governors. Some governors did a great job. In all cases, they were Republicans, and some, like in South Carolina, Henry McMaster, kept everything open. Others didn't. The Democrats did a bad job, very bad job. But basically, I gave that power over the states. I gave it to the governor. I gave it back to the states. And I think it's something which, when people realize that, it's something that they respect.
Will there be accountability for the lying to Congress when you get to appoint your new AG?
What lying?
AG?
Yeah, and we'll take a look at...
Wait, lying to Congress? From who? Do you mean lying from Congress? What are we talking about?
Statute of limitations, because you know the statute of limitations are quite long, and we're going to be looking at that very seriously.
For what crime? Who? What?
I got one big question for you. So part of my family comes from Korea.
Good.
And you did what I think is one of the...
For Fauci? But for what? What lie? I didn't know if he was talking about the Syrian thing now, but like what lie?
Most tremendous things. You crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea with no security as a sign of goodwill and peace with the hostile nation. And I've had people tell me it never happened, so I think people need to know about it. And I'm wondering if you can just tell me, how did that happen? How did it come to be?
And it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
And we were, when I met with, with the handoff, you sort of meet with...
Did he cross the DMZ? Didn't they meet at a summit? Wasn't it in Singapore? Or was there two different things? They met at the DMZ once. They met a few times. There was at Singapore, there was Hanoi. Oh, you mean this one? I don't want to burst Tim Pool's bubble, but he does know that there was in fact security there, right? It was the DMZ. That is the area with the most security on Earth. Like saying, yeah, I went to the DMZ with no security is like saying, yeah, you went to like you went to like the police station without a security detail. Like, okay, I feel like they had that covered for you at the location. Like, I feel like the okay, stupid.
With the previous president for a period of time, the meeting lasted for quite a while. With President Obama, you sit in the Oval Office and you talk, and the press is outside, and you talk for a little while. He said the single greatest threat we have is North Korea. And I said, have you called them? Have you tried to talk?
Guys, I'm really not trying to burst Tim's bubble here, but I think all of these serious-looking men in suits might be security. That guy, these people, this guy. I'm pretty sure they're all security. And you know what's crazy? Nothing happened after this. Like, Donald Trump brags about this like this was a big peace win, you know, like for stabilizing tensions. Nothing happened. North Korea has continued to do the exact same shit afterwards that they did before. It accomplished literally nothing. What has changed after this?
Good to see you again. I've never expected to meet you at this place.
All right, hold on. Now, we're going to use this as a bit of an object lesson here, okay? Because Kim has always dressed quite well. Notice how the suit, which is it enjoyed in large part for its elegance, simplicity, heavy drape, its refinement. Notice how Kim has a perfect swoop continuing down his body. You know, straight posture. We have just like a nice, solid, gradual line. Whereas if we take a look at Donald Trump from the side, notice how that clear swoop is broken. See? You don't have that same form and flow because the jacket juts out too much in the front. The trousers aren't long enough, you know? Look at this difference right here. Do you see how much more elegant Kim's dress uniform looks compared to Donald Trump's? It's way too skinny down here in the ankles. It doesn't come out far enough in the thighs. The jacket's not long enough. Exactly. Kim's jacket is longer. It's a nicer silhouette. Look, Kim has always impressed Westoids with his clean presentation and his high level of understanding of menswear principles. You know, they look the same. You are blind. You are a blind man. But this is a great example because they're both fat guys, you know? So you get a good, clean, like, yeah, it's looking good.
To meet you at this place.
Look at this bunching here at the small of Trump's back. It's unsightly. In comparison, look at the back of Kim's jacket right here. A perfect, clean swoop. No folding or unsightly wrinkles right here, huh? See? Look at that. I've always been a big fan of this kind of, like, what do they call this? Like the Shaolin jacket, where you have the straight buttons right down the middle and you have the, like, little, the two breast pockets. I like that look a lot. It's pretty good. Like a heavy work shirt. Yeah, just day and night between them. I wish I could make Kim Jong-un laugh. All right. Sorry, so that's what we're talking about.
Talk to him, little things like that. And didn't matter what the answer was. He felt that was the single biggest threat in the world was North Korea. And as you know, there was certain hostility when I first started, and all of a sudden it boiled down to something that was very beautiful, the way it happened. And I got along with him very well. And I will say that if Hillary won that race, you would have had a nuclear war and millions of people would have been killed.
Literally in the same interview, they're still doing the Hillary Clinton, hey, I'm not that bad because Hillary Clinton would have nuked the opposition. But just earlier, he was bragging that he would have kept people on their toes about the threat of nuclear annihilation. Same interview.
And you weren't even close to that. It never happened. It was never going to happen. I got along great with him. And it just never was going to happen.
Were you at all scared in any way when you crossed into an enemy country?
Well,
God.
I wouldn't say that Secret Service was thrilled. And in those blue buildings, there were lots of people in those buildings that I looked at. The two blue buildings on each side with the windows. And I looked in those windows, and there were a lot of things happening in those. Someday I'll tell you about it. But no, I felt very safe. I felt my relationship with him, as you know, was very hostile. Little Rocket Man and all that. But then all of a sudden it morphed. He respected me, I respected him. And we ended up, once we got to know each other, we ended up very good. A very smart guy, very strong guy. He's the absolute leader of that country, for those that think he's...
It sure is very telling that the first compliment Trump thinks of about every dictator he interacts with is, it sure is admirable how this guy is a dictator,
They're wrong. And I got to know him very well.
Just earlier in this interview, he was like, I agree with the libertarians on a lot of things. They say Viktor Orban, is he a strong man or not? I don't know, but he is a strong man. One thing you can say about Kim Jong-un, one thing that I do respect about him is he is the absolute dictator of the country. It's like, what would you...
Even did a press conference. He never did a press conference before. I said, would you like to do a press conference? And we did a press conference, if you remember. And then he said, that's the end of the press conference. And boom. Everybody was pretty radically thrown out. But
does Trump genuinely think he won these guys over? This is like a you can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing. All of Trump's understanding of foreign policy and geopolitics and getting along with foreign leaders is based on his experience being a New York real estate mogul and business magnate. All the stuff he does, from the weird handshakes to his power move insults to shoving past people to talking about how he's gonna cut across the aisle and talk them mano a mano and settle it down and get it done and get the real work done. All of it is just a direct consequence of lessons that he was taught as a young man by his asshole of a father on how to be a business guru, It's all that. His understanding of these issues has never advanced beyond that point. I don't even think he's aware of it.
It was the only press conference he's ever done. I got along with him great. We had no nuclear war. You would have had a nuclear war guaranteed, and you won't if we have the right president, if we have somebody that knows what he's doing.
Does he genuinely believe what he's saying? I think he does. Yes, I think he does. I think Donald Trump is a very unintrospective person, and that he believes a lot of the stuff that he says because he's borderline delusional.
You're not going to have World War III. If, on the other hand, we don't, you're going to end up in World War III, and it's going to be a war like no other because of the power of weaponry.
Many have actually been saying we're already in it. The Hill published a piece saying we are in World War III and Biden is losing it. And so...
Well, that sounds like a stupid article. We're not in World War III. What?
My hope is... I don't see any logical path for a Biden presidency to fix the economy, to fix anything.
He can't fix any. He can't fix himself.
Yeah.
Can't fix anything.
He had a new one the other day, Pakalaka. I don't know if you saw that. He was muttering on TV, something like that. Now, crypto.
By the way, I just so you know, I know all the leaders.
I really wanted Donald Trump to talk about crypto. Please, God, the most pressing issue of our time. We haven't even talked about inflation yet, and we're going to get to fucking crypto. Please, please. Oh my God. Tim was citing an opinion article? According to this guy, he might as well have said, I saw a tweet that said World War III has already happened. Thank you, Tim.
They're at the top of their game. They're sharp. They're tough. They're smart. they love their country, or they do whatever they have to for their country at a minimum. And when they see this guy come in, I think they can't believe it. I know they can't believe it. It's not the right person.
What is he?
So we'll do a couple quick ones. We don't have much time. You announced you're taking cryptocurrency.
What we're doing is we're backing it as a form of, as a field, and we have to, because otherwise somebody else is going to be doing it from another country. And as you know, they're
Rents due.
already trying, and it's going to happen, and we're going to help it happen. And it's something that can be very good. I think it can be very good.
No central bank digital currencies.
No digital, no central bank.
And one more big one. Will you pardon Julian Assange?
Well, I'm going to talk about that today, and we're going to give it very serious consideration. And we're going to have a couple of other things to say in the speech that I think you're going to love.
I've heard.
So this is before the speech, then, before he got booed a bunch. Okay, probably got booed as he entered the convention, though. Wasn't Trump like hardline not pardoning Julian Assange before? He's only saying this now because he's at the Libertarian Convention. This is not happening.
And you've gotten so much out of me, I should leave a little bit for the speech, don't you think?
Mr. President, it is an honor and a privilege. I really do appreciate you sitting down with me.
And you're very respected, I have to say. When I did a little research, and some of my guys said, and I've met you before. But
oh, sorry. Apparently, Donald Trump has actually offered a pardon before, but only on the condition that they do so in a way that plays defense for Russia. That's great. That's so on brand, man. Yeah, we'll offer you a pardon, but only if you do something politically favorable to an enemy of the United States in a way that has nothing to do with the allegations against you. Just naked, unapologetic corruption. Like, yeah, we will pardon you of crimes we think you committed, but as long as you do like a favor for us. Jesus Christ, it's like fucking Suicide Squad shit.
But they said just a very respected guy. It's my honor, even though
Isn't it interesting how he's not saying he's going to do it? You're right. If Donald Trump even remotely thought he was going to do something, he would just say that he's going to do it. He would just say, I'll pardon him, and like get a bunch of cheers. The only reason he's saying, I'll give it consideration, because he's not going to. Like, if he was president, if there was any chance of him doing it, he would say he was going to do it for sure.
That big crowd. That's the biggest crowd they've ever had. We're keeping them waiting just for this interview, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. Shall we?
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
That was fantastic. That was somebody said something fell in my background. What fell in my background? I don't see anything. That was fantastic.
Great. Thanks. That was fun.
You got my vote.
We better win. We're not going to have a country.
Yeah. We're excited.
Just look at that, man. Even with his arms at rest.
We're excited.
Even with his arms at rest at his side. How do sleeves bunch up that much when your arms are at rest? That's crazy. Like, how is that even possible?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do.
Looks like a
we're friends with
sack.
With Junior and Cash. And,
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out.
You're welcome. Well, that was wild. That was crazy. As bad as expected. I had fun, you know? Let's not be negative. Kind of boring, not gonna lie, he's lost it. You guys are so you guys are like blinded by the rose-tinted glasses. I'm not gonna lie. Donald Trump in interpersonal interviews has always been like this. This is exactly what I was expecting. You know, the main takeaways from this, apart from it just being generally funny with Donald Trump trying to rewrite history and having no ideology and being inconsistent and blah blah blah. The main takeaway for me, honestly, is desperation. I still think it's a very revealing and desperate move for Donald Trump to go to the fucking Libertarian National Convention and beg them to vote for him. You know, like, yeah, I'm like a libertarian. Haha, ignore all the authoritarian things I do. Yeah, crypto. We're going to do crypto. No central bank. Haha. Maybe I'll free Assange. Like, it just speaks to desperation. To me, it would be like Biden going up or going to the Green Party National Convention and going like, "Hey Jack, I'll like maybe I'll do a socialism, you know, haha. I'll free Snowden possibly. Like it would just come across as really, really, really desperate. Yeah, it was pretty odd, Code 117, though it looked like they were filming all of this in a broom closet, so I don't necessarily fault them. Aren't you kind of undermining the fact that he's a fascist? Man, you gotta come at me like that, really? Aren't you like, hey, streamer, I have decided to interpret your rhetoric in a way that I think is harmful. Let me like impugn you for it. What do you mean undermining? Fascists are silly. You lose to the fascists if you act like a pearl-clutching, morally indignant dullard every time they say anything. If they say stuff that's stupid and funny, you should say it's stupid and funny. That's not the same as downplaying it. You know, you can say a person is stupid and funny and a massive threat to democracy. I mean, he very clearly wants to be a dictator. Like, the lazy boy, I said in this segment like 10 times, man, he sure does want to be a dictator. And don't you, like, and there's plenty of evidence of him reading and even repeating nearly word-for-word phrases from Nazi text. Where did you learn that from? Fucking youtube.com/c/Vosh? Who are you talking to right now? What are you trying to out comparing Republicans to Nazis? Me? I invented that shit. I've been on that game. You were still swimming around in your dad's balls while I was telling everyone that Donald Trump is Hitler-esque. Okay, come on. Ban him, ban him? Oh, I'm not gonna ban him. That's cool. We're all good here. All right. I can't help it. Really quickly, before we do the other segments, there's something I want to show you guys. I recently got some pretty nice items. I had actually been waiting in them for a little while. Yeah, can I show you real quick? Just a little bit, real quick. We can do it real quick. Little bit, real quick, little bit. Then we do more. Little bit, real quick. Okay? Okay. There's like, never mind mod that guy. Mods? Buckle in for some fashion. I'm really into the idea of like casual unstructured jackets. So I got two that I like. One of them Hopsack linen and one of them seersucker. Hold on. Now, to be clear, by the way, I wouldn't wear these with this shirt, so it's not a perfect match. And of course, I'm wearing shorts. I also have no idea how this is going to look while I'm seated. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. But it's a casual, unstructured, see, linen hopsack jacket. See? Like, it's not like a suit. It's not meant to be formal or anything. It's like you'd wear it with jeans and a t-shirt, you know? See? Look at how big the sleeves are. It's meant to be this like super airy, just like lounging by the pool. Yeah, like you see, you would wear it with shorts. Like you could easily wear it with shorts. You know what I mean? Like this. See, it's just got like a light, you know, like you wouldn't wear it with like a button up, you know? So that's one. I like it. This one's a little more experimental. I actually got it with some seersucker trousers in the same color. This is the same kind of thing, an unstructured jacket. Also like a lounging by the pool kind of thing, but it's seersucker. Can you see that material? It's got like, why is it called seersucker? I'm sure there's some interesting reason for it, but it's like super good for the summer months, like really light, just like, you know, again, it like super casual, you see? Lounging by the pool jacket. Yeah, no, it's in that vibe. This is the, or these are the trousers that I got with it. They just haven't arrived yet. You know, they're high-waisted trousers. I think they're going to look really good, personally, but that's just my opinion. See, that material in trousers, pretty cool, right? I don't normally wear stuff that's navy blue, but I was really interested in trying it. These would be larger on me, of course, because this guy's skinny and I'm not. What are trousers? I say trouser to refer to suiting trousers or stuff that has pleats. What do I just say? Pants? Pants is just so broad. I have some green white striped seersucker shirts. Abigail Normal. Anyway. Yeah, I think you see what I mean by like the way the material folds, right? It's clearly light. I mean, it's not like a full structured jacket. Though it does contour well. Anyway, pretty neat, right? I don't think the blue's your color. I wouldn't normally go with navy blue, but I did want to try it. What is that jacket or blazer you were wearing? that was just the thing I was showing. What do you mean? I was just talking about that. Could you wear the first jacket with a more casual button-up shirt? It could if you wanted to. I don't know if I necessarily would. Oh, one last thing. Okay, these ones are a little bit of a doozy, you know? I need to get them hemmed. They're too long on me right now. I've got a long torso, but they're linen pants that are high-waisted, and I think they have a beautiful drape. Look at that, huh? Oh, wait, here, get out of there. Ain't that neat? Can't even see how well they drape, you know? Good drape, but we can't see the colors? Yeah. You need a different shirt to... I know! I'm not doing an outfit here. I'm just showing the pants. Could use a belt. The only reason you think that they need a belt is because I'm wearing almost the same tone on my pants and my shirt. If it was a different colored shirt, you'd feel differently. I feel like a belt would be too... I mean, you know, imagine it's like a larger white shirt. You get me. Now, hold on. How do you store your clothes? Carefully. All right, you've all been very good. That concludes my little show off. Okay? That was it. We're done. These old linen shorts that I have, which are from before my little fashion arc, they're too fucking loose for me now. I've lost too much weight. Okay. All right. How many viewers did he lose? Let's find out. 700. You know, worth it. Only the real fans stick it around. Okay. Nice, Yolanda Hayes. Everlane has some good stuff. Respect. Hope you enjoy the material. What do we got on the docket? North Korea sends balloons filled with waste into the south. I did, in fact, see this. Not in person. You know, I wasn't there filling the balloons, but you know. We want to make noise, maybe? Evidently, we do not, even if I turn the noise on. More than 200 balloons carrying trash flew from North Korea to the south in apparent retaliation against anti-Pyongyang propaganda sent in the opposite direction. Oh, well, hold on. If you're sending anti-North Korean propaganda up, how are you going to be mad if they send the poop back? Come on. I guess, yeah, waste doesn't necessarily mean poop. Yeah, okay, this is just a fun little back and forth. Yeah, this is a prank war. Yeah, come on. Let's be well-intentioned and you know, well-spirited here. But it was activists, not the South Korean government. Okay, so you do a little trolling and the government responds with a little bit of trolling. I think that's fine. This is good. I like it. South Korea sent out a government emergency disaster alert urging citizens to refrain from touching the objects and to report any more. See, this is, okay, I'm very sorry. North Korea won this one, you know? You have some uppity activists sending anti-Pyongyang propaganda north, you know? The North Korean, it lands somewhere in like a barren rice field or whatever. You know, a 1958 open back, like, Jeep, you know, Soviet Jeep finds it and they're like, okay, and then they poop in some bags and they send it back, and the South Korean government, you know, gets really upsetty spaghetti. Personally, I say it's a win for the North. Response teams were dispatched to identify what was in the balloons, which confirmed the inclusion of fertilizer. South Korea's defense ministry told NBC News no human waste was found. What are you doing, man? But said that North Korea did send human waste via balloon in 2016. North Korea often uses human feces as fertilizer. There's so many things wrong with this. I'm unironically like siding with North Korea. Okay, first of all, why are you digging through this to find human poop? Second of all, why are you saying this like there's anything wrong with human feces as fertilizer? We've been doing that for thousands of years. Like, yeah, nowadays with modern industrial society, we usually have like a whole industrial process for fertilizer making, but the idea of like farmers using Senshi does it in Dungeon Meshi. Like, that's not like they're making it sound like it's some weird thing. Like, it's a poor country, man. Like, yeah. Okay. Matt Damon did it to survive on Mars. Matt Damon did it to survive on Mars. Think about it. Photographs released by South Korean military showed inflated balloons anchored with plastic bags filled with garbage. Other images showed trash scattered around collapsed balloons with the word excrement written on a bag in one photograph. That's nice. These are the little trash bag balloons we're talking about. Man, North Korea won this one handily. I mean, you can run into issues if you have diseases in your colon. Yeah, okay, but like that, it's not, you don't need to call the fucking government every time a homeless man poops in the street, you know? Like, let's be real here, okay? I'm sure if North Korea wanted to introduce a virological warfare element to their, you know, their dynamic with the South, they would do it in a more effective way than pooping in a bag and flinging it across the DMZ. In early May, North Korean defector turned human rights activist Park Sang-hak sent 20 balloons carrying 300,000 leaflets condemning North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The balloons were stuffed with USB drives containing South Korean media such as K-pop and K-drama, as well as US dollar bills. Quick question, by the way. Why in the ever-loving fuck would you try to win over North Koreans by sending them US dollar bills? Like, the whole line that they get fed in the North is that U.S. economic hegemony controls the entire planet except for North Korea and a few allied countries, you know? Like, why would you confirm that suspicion by going, hey, man, you should come down to the South, you know? Look at our, like, American dollar bills, you know? We're subject to U.S. economic hegemony. All right. I'm not gonna lie, I've heard so many bad stories about North Korean defectors. I don't know with some of these people. I mean, I'm glad you're out of North Korea. There's that one lady who went on Joe Rogan and was like, yeah, in North Korea, the trains don't work. You had to push the trains. And if you couldn't push the train on your own, they'd shoot you or whatever. And a lot of this seems like a PR thing. I don't know. Why are you sending them K-pop? Couldn't you send them, I don't know, anything that might actually change their minds? Not just like, look at this, we've got K-pop. North Korea has a whole industry of smuggling US DVDs. They really want the US dollars, lol. But if that's the case, wouldn't that mostly appeal to people who are already against the North Korean regime because they're already engaged in the smuggling of Western media? I don't know. I don't know. I just think North Korea won this one. Foreign currency is illegal in North Korea. Dude is trying to get people in trouble. It's a stupid virtue signal anyway. North Korea has air defense. They can see those balloons. It's not like those balloons are going to land in North Korea and some farmer is going to get the stuff. And it's like obviously anywhere the balloon landed, the North Korean government would show up. It's not like this is actually an effective way of getting around to anyone. They must know that Kim Jong-un is telling lies when he labeled South Koreans as America's slaves. Why would you do that? By sending American dollar bills, when the reality is that North Koreans are the slaves to Kim Jong-un. Nice. The standoff between the two neighbors has been escalating in recent months, with Kim's actions raising concern from some analysts that he may be preparing to take military action. Slop! They have been saying this for half a century. Every news article that has been published on North Korea for the past 50 years has been, they might really do it this time. Jesus Christ. It's about letting them know the outside world is not what they seem. Well, by sending them consumerist slop and American currency, they're kind of reaffirming the propaganda the North Korean government pushes, you know? Remember how in Squid Game there's a North Korean defector who's a part of the game? And there's a part where she's like, man, I wonder if North Korea was better than this. And the this she's referring to isn't the Squid Game, but is, in fact, just living in South Korea. Well, we do make the best slop, Thana. The stupid thing is, Kim would never do it because this current situation is giving him everything he wants. Yeah, no, the Western media is complicit in the longevity of the Kim dynasty because their nonstop psychopathic fear-mongering perpetuates a state of affairs where North Korea benefits from the fear of instability. It's the same thing that we do with Iran, by the way, by constantly making Iran out to be some great axis of evil foreign adversary. We prop up and legitimize the propaganda that the Ayatollah disseminates in an effort to legitimize and maintain his regime. Oh, you know, America really is the great Satan. Look at how they treat us as so evil. You know, it enables them. It's a two-part dynamic, and we play our role. Wouldn't it be more effective to send them Western snacks? Are you suggesting perhaps that South Korean activists should send North a bunch of balloons filled with Takis, the Fuego Takis, with the hope that it would induce some kind of revolutionary fervor in those lucky enough to try them? Nobody can beat America in the snacks and treats game. I'm going to be a little contentious here and say I disagree. I actually think we have too many, and I'm not joking. I felt this way when I went to Spain because I went to their grocery stores and their convenience marts, and one thing that I noticed is that, In America, it used to be, this is a Reese's peanut butter cup. But now it's not enough to have a Reese's peanut butter cup. Now you have the Reese's peanut butter cup, the Reese's peanut butter cup dark chocolate, the Reese's peanut butter cup with Reese's Pieces inside, the Reese's peanut butter cup that's extra tall stacked with Reese's Pieces inside, the Reese's Pieces on their own. You have the like mega cup. And it's like, none of these are different. You're diversifying for the sake of shareholder value, for buzz. I think you're actually like blocking the market out from more innovative products. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the candy aisle needs to be 2 entire lanes of a grocery store when, for the most part, it's just the same candy in microscopically different ways. I would much rather that space be left open to, you know, some maybe like a little weirder stuff. Maybe some foreign candies. Foreign grocery stores have American candy. American grocery stores have some foreign candy, like the little Swedish fish, but I don't even think those are Swedish. I think we don't really have much, like, in spite of how internationalist our food is in general, where you can, in like any American city, you can get food from any corner of the world, basically. In spite of this fact, our grocery stores are really weirdly racially segregated. Guys, for those of you who don't live in America, you might not know this, okay? But in many grocery stores, beans are literally kept in the ethnic aisle. Ethnic food. In a country that has so many Hispanic people that it could fill entirely several large states, you literally have to look for the, like, here's the foreign food to find stuff like rice, beans, tortillas, guacamole, salsa, like a ton of different stuff. And it's literally like, this is the Mexico/Asia aisle. It's insane. No shot. I'm not joking. Like, none of this is a joke. Like, very basic staple food items. Those aren't ethnic. All foods are ethnic, is the point. We're literally doing the, like, this is the normal food, and it's 6 aisles filled with frozen chicken nugget and French fry treats or ice cream. And this is the foreigner food. And it's like, let's be real here, the real food. Like the actual food you can cook and that won't kill you when you eat it. Like, if you want to survive eating this food 3 times a day, we're not talking about the frozen chicken nugget, French fry, Smuckers, you know, Lunchable delights, whatever. We're talking about rice and beans and, you know, pasta and noodles and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I think our grocery stores are a little bit cooked. We have a lot of stuff, but Florida grocery stores don't do this. It probably is that the southern states, the ones closer to the border, don't do this. Because, like, in Seattle, some of them do and some of them don't. In Los Angeles, most of them didn't. But then when I would visit other areas, like, more of them did. I feel like it varies depending on the area. Tennessee does it. The Northeast does it. Yeah, I think it depends. There's a variety. Vosh is right about the grocery stores. There's an aisle called Asian and Mexican. It's crazy. It's genuinely, like, how cooked do you have to be culinarily as an individual American living your life that you think of black beans as a, like, ethnic foreign food? Man, like, fuck. It's no wonder we're 99% obese in this country. Jesus. Honest question, is American food in grocery stores just frozen food? I'm not gonna lie. Like, you have like, this is the aisle for candy, this is the aisle for chips, this is the aisle for condiments and seasoning, this is the aisle for baking stuff, right? This is the aisle for bread, bagels, blah blah blah. Then you have the ethnic aisles, Mexican and Asian, or together at one, depending on the place. And then you have the frozen food section, and the frozen food section's pretty big, man. Like, there's a lot of it. And that's where you're going to find a lot of shortages, too, because that's where people get their damn food, you know? You're not going to go to a grocery store and find that they're out of fucking pasta. You're going to go to a grocery store and find that the entire, like, chicken breast section is out. And they do have the meat, and they do have the cheese. I'm not saying you literally can't get it. It's there. It's just a lot of our space in our grocery stores is dedicated to frozen slop. Walmart has 3 entire aisles of frozen food, not even including dairy or meat. It's so fucked, man. It's so much worse tasting. It's more expensive, It's like lower quality in every respect. It's not even really that much faster. Even with an air fryer, you can make something that's frozen in what, like 15, 16 minutes? You can do that. Just make some rice beforehand. Get a rice cooker for like 25 bucks. You can do that in no time. It's crazy. What about French fries? Way easier to use frozen fries. Okay, I posit this to you, and I apologize if this comes across as contentious. What are you doing eating French fries at home? Just cut up a potato and bake it. You know? You can make that in an air fryer in the same amount of time that you could have made the French fries, but it's better because you're not doing this like sloppy double fried whatever. You can literally like just chop up a potato into some cubes and like that, like really quick, little wedges, whatever, slices, toss them in, like seasoned pepper, salt, olive oil, throw them in there. Healthier than the French fries, tastier than the French fries, cheaper than the French fries. You know? French fries are yummy though. I am describing the same fundamental materials as French fries, just prepared better. Cutting fries takes longer to frozen. No. Don't cut the fry shape. You know, they use industrial equipment for that. Just like cut up the potato. Who cares if it's a fry shape? Nah, frozen fries in the air fryer are fine. You know what? No, they're not. They're never seasoned, man. They're not seasoned. I've had those. They're like flavorless. All the flavor you have to add yourself, and it doesn't even hold on that well because there's no oil left because they've already been double cooked. No, I'm not letting you get away with this. Season them yourself? Yeah, you can, but it doesn't hold on to the same way because you're not tossing them in the seasoning in the air fryer. Also, enjoy spending $9 on a bag of French fries that weighs as much as 2 russet potatoes that you could get for like 67 cents, you know? You're being a bit classist against people who don't have the 3 minutes to cut potatoes. Yeah, no, literally. Like, you can just cut it. You don't have to cut them in, like, an even shape or whatever. Personally, I think that potatoes are at their best when you have a lot of unevenness in their cook. Some areas are, like, a little bit charred. Some of them are, like, a little softer. Yeah, whatever, man. Just a big fucking thing of potatoes. Hell yes. You know? I'm not at a restaurant. What if I'm a goblin? Has everyone seen the lemon gerblin thing? Gerblin lemon loaf. That thing. Thoughts on baked potatoes? If anybody who dislikes baked potatoes has forfeited their life, their right to live, in my opinion, you know? You must boil the potatoes before boiling them. You mean before frying them, I assume. Yeah, if you want to do it right, yeah, you can do that. But I posit this to you. Who care? Seriously, just toss them in the air fryer. It's fine, you know? It's okay. Sometimes, man, I don't want to turn into one of those guys because I'm incredibly privileged, you know, to live the life that I do. But sometimes I hear people are having money troubles, and then I see that they're ordering DoorDash like every day. They're DoorDashing like individual milkshakes because they have a craving, and my physiognomy morphs, and you watch me as I animorphs transform into Ayn fucking Rand. Like, you know, the market has decided that you will perish in the street, you know, like the, you know, Darwinist forces in our economy condemn you to no offspring, be gone. Like, fuck, man. This is, I don't know. Because there's two ends on this, right? Where some people are like, let poor people have fun. And I agree. But let's not have too much fun, okay? Let's not, you know, let poor people have some candy. Okay, go for it. Now, let poor people DoorDash a milkshake at 11 a.m. on a day they're not even working. Like they're just chilling at home. No, that's too much fun. That's too much fun for me. I would feel disgusting doing that. Like sickeningly, I would feel wrong doing that. And it wouldn't hit me that bad. So I don't, you know. You're imagining people are running off of some anecdotes? There are people like this. I don't know what to tell you. There are people like this. It sucks. And they always do the like you're being ableist, you know, what if I'm a quadriplegic? What if I'm in a coma? How am I supposed to make my own food, you know? This isn't a DoorDash thing. This is you poo-pooing air frying frozen fries like it's bad or something. I'm just saying there's a way you can do it cheaper and better. Like, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. Help, help, cops. I'm being threatened by a man in chat with a gun. He's mad at me for pointing out that, yeah, buying all your shit from the frozen food aisle is probably the more expensive, less tasty, less effective way of getting basically the same item. You know, I've had frozen fries before. I'm not saying you're like a bad person or anything. I'm just saying that you should explore other options when it comes to fulfilling your dietary potato cravings. Vosh is saying that if you don't want to be homeless, you should cut back on the avocado toast. Okay, but if there was somebody who was struggling to make ends meet, but was buying like a $16 avocado toast plus Frappuccino every morning, I would tell them to stop. Like, in fairness, like the problem with that article was the assumption that everyone's economic troubles were because they were doing that, which is, I don't believe that. But if you are doing that, you should not do that. Like, it's, you know, like, yeah, like young people's financial troubles are because they keep wadding up dollar bills and throwing them in the sewer. I don't think they're doing that. But if I came across a young person who was going through financial hardship, doing that exact thing, wadding up paper bills and throwing them in the sewer, I would tell them to stop. You know, I would suggest, you know, that they find a different way of entertaining themselves. Not a man, also a large thing of frozen fries. Did you just, I'm not a man me because I said, come on, man, as though I don't say that to everything, every person in chat, a door that I walk into, a post on the sidewalk that I hit my head against because I'm looking at my phone, a car that drives by me a little bit too close, a dog that gives me a weird look behind. Come on, person. Whatever, you can have your frozen fries. I'm not taking them from you. No, none of the gender-neutral discourse, okay? This is like a sliding scale. If there's a trans chick you know, and you say dude to everyone, but she asks you to stop, you should stop, you know? It's just, it's the tone, okay? It's the tone. That was weird. Stream ended for a second. Guys, YouTube is just being shitty right now. I don't know what to tell you, okay? I don't know what to tell you. All right, we got to move on. We got to move on. Oh my God. Is this what someone in chat was referencing earlier? While we were going over the Trump bit, somebody was like, yeah, we're libertarians. We're all, you know, of course we're libertarians. We love to compare the cock sizes of different races when we think that the microphone is off. You know, is that, I didn't realize that was in reference to something. Delegates at the Libertarian Party National Convention get caught in a hot mic talking about, okay.
Yeah. Are you guys egalitarians? Sort of. Because I believe everybody has equal value. But I don't believe that everybody is equal. Yeah, I mean, you know, I bring it up in the context of, you know, obviously there's genetic differences, there's IQ differences between individuals on a general curve, and to say right off the bat that you're going to put an Ashkenazi Jew, a white, an Asian, and a black next to each other and automatically assume they're the same, I think that that's wrong. I think that's wrong because there's averages and you know. Right, exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, all right. So my joke about that is everybody talks about how black dicks are bigger. What's bigger? Black dicks. Black dicks.
Dude, racists are never beating the allegations because they're too busy beating off to the allegations. Where's that, like, Where is that one image? I can't show it on stream where it's like no one, absolutely no one, absolutely not a single person on God's green earth, and then it's the white chud thinking of a black cock. Like it's nonstop with these people. It's all sexual insecurity. This is the root of like all fascism. And I know we're at the Libertarian Convention, but like I said, Mises Caucus, if we could get IDs in these guys, by the way, I would love to know. I would bet anything, you know, dollars to donuts, these guys are with the Mises Caucus 100%, the Hitlerite faction of the Libertarian National Convention, because real libertarians are obsessed with like Roswell and you know, I want to believe, and crypto or whatever. And these guys over here are discussing like racial IQ and cock sizes. Incredible stuff. Well, let's see where we go with this one, you know?
It's okay. And Asian dicks are small, right?
Small, right? Do you know what the average? Do you know what the difference is on an average?
What?
Half an inch.
Stereotypes are earned; they're not given. Right. So all of these things that we have as jokes and memes and whatnot, they got to where they are because people just kind of agreed on them, maybe subconsciously. So, you know, even though it's half an inch, blacks still have bigger people.
This guy's literally like, I am in online communities where black dick is the subject of constant attention and scrutiny. And as a consequence of that, you know, the stereotypes have been embedded for a reason. Incredible shit. Incredible shit. Why does everyone talk about racial dick size stereotypes and not about racial pussy size stereotypes? Nobody brings up the actual genuine like body construction difference between black and white people, which is the black butt phenomena, you know? It's been discussed at length in black media, and I just think that like people like they're too afraid to say it, you know? Genuine, I'm actually going to put forward an element of genuine, like, measureheadist racial theory, advanced racial theory. And I think it's because white racists obsess over black cock because they are fetishizing their sexual insecurity. This is a sexual insecurity that can be traced back, like, literal centuries, escaped slaves being castrated, the persistent fear that an escaped slave would go and immediately, like, bed a white woman. The fear of the animalistic sexual prowess of the black man. The white man cowers in fear of this, I suppose, in this imagined reality. But in spite of the fact that, and I apologize if this is insensitive, you know, I've gotten a lot of heat for stuff in the past that I didn't think was controversial, but apparently was. But, you know, hopefully this isn't one of them. If you line averages up, and I have, you know, in my day-to-day life, you know, I've you know, the people that I've been with, black girls have fatter asses by like a lot. If you actually do the numbers on dick size differences or whatever, it's pretty negligible. A lot of it is literally just porn stereotyping that people run away with. But if we're talking like ass fatness, I don't know, right there, you know, liberals are always saying race isn't real, but have they looked at asses lately? No, dialing it back slightly. I think they don't talk about that as much. And I think that's because fixating on the black dick is a fetishization of their sexual insecurity, but talking about the butt size thing takes away from their obsession with elevating white women as the apex of feminine beauty. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's this dynamic there where it's like, you know, there are specific elements of like racial stereotyping we'll engage with because it's convenient for us in a sexual and political and psychological level. But on the other side of things, like, we don't want to take away from the like eulogization or like the mythologization of the white woman as the apex of beauty. You know? That's not true. Brazil has fat asses of all colors. Okay, but yeah, but Brazil is the country that makes your ass fat. Let me lazily stereotype. Is anyone really gonna get mad at me for saying with the fat ass thing? Come on. Let's not come after me for this one. This is meant, look, in the spirit of brotherly love, okay? I love all people, all right? Don't come at me right now.
Right, exactly. But
Black hip-hop artists are always going on and on about fat-ass black chicks. They call them bitches. I would never refer to a woman with that word. But when a little white boy says it, you know, everyone gets mad. I'm just listen. I've listened and I've learned, and I'm just repeating what I've heard.
But that's on average. But you take a random black man and put it next to
Clench your butt while walking up the stairs to make your ass grow. I don't know if you're repeating me saying that or if you're independently arriving at that conclusion, but unironically, yes, that's not even a joke. If you clench your butt and use your glute muscles while walking up the stairs, you actually can genuinely have more of a bubble butt, like just like that if you keep doing that. Not a joke. Your quads are the main muscle doing the work when you go upstairs, but your quads are massive and very efficient at moving you, so it doesn't take your quads that much effort to walk up the stairs. But if you use your glutes primarily, your glutes, while very large, aren't as strong and aren't as they're not in as good of a position leverage-wise to move you upstairs. So if you invoke those, they have to do more work, and that's how you get a fat butt for no work.
It may not be there.
Look, and that's one of the issues with a multicultural society is that you can't do individualism on a scale of 330 million. Right? You have to categorize, you have to do averages. It's just not efficient. It's not possible to do it on an individual scale. And that's why
You can't do multiculturalism, folks. Some people have different dick sizes, you know? You can't... How are we... and this is specifically in the context of them talking about cock size. So this is literally like, bro, you have to stereotype cock size. You can't just like look at a big crowd of guys and not know what their dick sizes are. You have to look at a black guy and go, man, I bet that guy's really hung. This is really important for society. Like, it's really necessary for civilization, for the white man's Western civilization to thrive. You need to be able to look at a black guy and go, that guy's really fucking hung, I bet. And like, that's normal, and this is normal, and this is how society thrives. Roman Empire, this is how they did it.
hear politicians talk about the black community and the Hispanic community, right?
Microphone one. Madam Chair, I believe that the microphones are picking up private conversation.
Oh my God. I would end it all. I would end it all if I was it's too much. It's too much. They really let them continue for like 2 minutes before stopping them. Yeah, Mr. Bush, sir, the Discord server leaked. Holy shit.
They might need to be cut. Microphone one.
Oh, yeah? What?
He's picking up you.
You hear me?
God, man. This is, again, just to be clear, this isn't like a random convention. This is the Libertarian National Convention. That is the level that they are on here. Okay? Like, Gary Johnson got 3% of the vote. Did you not hear that sound? I did, and I don't know what to say about it. Who runs the Libertarian National Convention? The Libertarian Party? Have you never talked to right-wingers IRL? This is what they talk about all the time. I mean, you joke, but like, genuinely, if you go on Poll or any 4chan, like any like edgy online... I'm too old to say, like, oh yeah, edgy Discord server or whatever, because I don't really use Discord socially, except I'm just in my server, I guess. But I bet if you went there as well, it's all race interracial cuckold porn. And trans people. Yeah. Straight insecure guys are more obsessed with black cock than white twinks on Grindr. Yeah, to be clear, I don't think these guys are gay for being obsessed with black cock. I just think they're racist. You know, once again, like, and this is one of those things, people laugh at me when I say this because they're like, how do you know? You're always online. You're like a porn addict. And it's like, bro, you need like 10 seconds of internet experience to know this. Interracial porn is produced by and for racists. If you look at interracial porn that is drawn, it is never, ever drawn. Racial fetishization porn, where it's like how a black man fucking a white woman, like, oh, this is like a thing, you know, is never drawn by egalitarian-minded people. It is always people who are like acting out on like the racial stereotypes that they have in their head for black people. It's always, always, always the white racist. Every time, like zero exceptions. It's crazy. I don't think anyone else has a fucking interest in interracial porn. I don't get it. I've like the fact that interracial is a term on its own is like really weird. We don't say like intersexual if it's a guy fucking a girl. Like people fuck other races all the time. Fuck like Hispanic and black. I never thought of it as like interracial sex. Like I'm kissing a black girl and like, oh my God, this is so hot. I'm doing interracial kissing. It's just fucking kissing. What are you talking about? You know, it's not, it's like the fact that it's a category in and of itself is entirely a product of the obsession with race play. And it's a right-wing thing, you know? I know one artist, but it's interracist, or sorry, I think you mean interracial for inclusion reasons, not like as a fetish. Oh yeah, you can see drawings online of like just normal, like just different races of people having sex, but it's not interracial like kink porn or whatever if they're being treated normally, and that shit isn't like a kink. It's not being treated as a like weird outlet for sexual insecurity for white men. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. According to Pornhub, boomers 58% more interested in trans porn than younger demographics. Well, in fairness, that's because if you're young these days, you can just like go to the local function and fuck a trans person. You know, so boomer, like if you you know, if you're a boomer, you know, it's a little harder. But if you're young these days because of the woke left and everything, yeah, it's not as much of a taboo really. Or anything, you know? Yeah, exactly, Casper's Flash. It just feels weird to, yeah. It's when the race becomes the point that it becomes problematic. Look, if you're like a left-leaning couple and you're into race play, I don't fucking care. Like, live your shit. I'm not gonna fucking police you. I'm not a fucking Maoist, like, you know, drumming my fingertips against the like stun gun that I have pulled from my belt while entering your bedroom, waiting, like, making sure that you're engaging in proper revolutionary coitus. I don't give a shit. All I know is that, like, all the right-wing edgy online spaces are fucking filled with interracial shit, and all the interracial porn I've ever seen online in any capacity has been racist right-wing shit. So like I like it, but if you're doing that shit interpersonally, like fuck yeah, man, whatever. I don't care. Whatever gets you off. That's great, Ken the Allen Cook. That's awesome. Race play when it's too leftist is like the same as gender play, IMO. Yeah. You know, whatever makes you happy, okay? All right. Russia plans higher taxes for rich companies as cost of Ukraine war mounts. Nice. How much of a hike is it? What percentage to what percentage, you know? The amendments are expected to raise about 2.6 trillion rubles a year. That's a lot, but what's the percentage? Income tax is currently 13% for the majority of Russians, with some higher earners paying a rate of 15%. Under the amendments, the 15% rate would apply for annual incomes between 2.4 and 5 million rubles, with 3 higher bands of 18, 20, and 22% further up the income ladder. The top rate would apply to earnings exceeding 50 million rubles. Still higher than the USA? No, this is lower than US federal taxes by a significant amount, which makes sense. Because if you're a Russian citizen, what are you getting for your tax dollar? Nothing. You live in a garbage heap. You know, the United States doesn't give us much either, but in comparison, like, visit any average Russian city or Google Maps it if you prefer, and then walk around the American city, and you know, you can tell we have slightly more. Slightly. American cities are shitholes. The corporate tax will rise to 25% for 20%. Oh, that is significant. Huh. That is significant. A full 25% hike from 20% to 25%. That's quite a bit. Soldiers fighting in Ukraine would be offered exceptions from the tax regime, the finance ministry said. This is one of the reasons they've been able to keep the war going, by the way. The government has been giving pretty significant benefits to soldiers who enlist, as I understand it. I don't know if it all goes to the conscripts as well. Yeah, Moscow and St. Petersburg and a few other places seem to be the only, like, real functioning, like, elements of civilization in Russia. There are a lot of cities that are just, like, wastelands on the map. All right, well, that's probably good. Look up Norilsk. Okay, sure. Norilsk. Sorry, Norilsk. It's a closed city? What does that mean? Settlement where travel or residency restrictions are applied, so specific authorization is required to visit. Huh. That's interesting. It is the world's northernmost city with more than 180,000 inhabitants. Look at images of the city. Ooh, for what purpose? Of what relevance is this? We were talking about, like, relative city investment. I mean, I'll admit, it's quite a vibe. It just looks like a bunch of rectangles, you know? Like, the whole city just looks like somebody scaled up shipping containers in a warehouse. Huh. Interesting. It's extremely polluted. Well, it's a vibe. But yeah, no, generally speaking, the people of Russia, didn't we literally see that, like, a significant number of Russians don't have indoor plumbing? It's a not the most developed country. The life expectancy for men is 48 there. Holy shit. Is that from mining? Nickel? Nickel deposits. Nickel, copper, cobalt, platinum, palladium, and coal are mined. Okay. Well, whatever the case is. They drink their weight in liquor. Wouldn't you? So in Mexico, the country that has banned me from visiting because I said that I don't think Dragon Ball Z is a very good anime, they have lit the Israeli embassy ablaze. Well, that's substantial. Huh. This is a pretty big deal. Rioters set fire to Israeli embassy in Mexico City. Police clashed with protesters at the Action for Rafah event in the Mexican capital. That's, fuck off.
Vamos en vivo contigo, Luis Carlos Hernández. Se pusieron duras las cosas por allá entre los manifestantes. Te escuchamos.
Así es, Said, pues se ha incrementado muchísimo el nivel de...
Is it because they hate Jews or because they hate Israel? Big difference. My understanding is that generally speaking, Latin America has been pretty pro-Palestinian for a while, and a lot of that is because in Latin America, there is a significant number of indigenous people and people who are descendants of or culturally influenced by indigenous people. What's that quote? All colonized people see themselves in Palestine and all colonizers see themselves in Israel. Latin America has a lot of colonized people, at least in a historical, cultural sense. So, I mean, I'm sure there are some anti-Semites, like, not denying that, but I think these are mostly motivated by, you know, actual
esta manifestación, esta
Humanitarian,
protesta y también la forma en la que estos elementos de seguridad están tratando de contener a estos manifestantes, quienes ya incluso, como vimos en las imágenes, pues ya aventaron incluso fuego, empezaron a incendiar algunos objetos y aventarlos contra estos elementos para poder tratar, pues para intentar tratar más bien quitar esta valla.
It looks like the police are the ones behind the encampments here. It's kind of crazy. Hello, doing whiteface at the function. All right, not saying I'm offended, just disappointed. Oh, hello. Yeah. Nice pictures. Does anyone else feel like protest and riot photos go way harder in Mexico in particular? I don't know why exactly. It just feels like we so consistently get really, really good shots out of there. A lot of really good shots here. I can't believe they lit the embassy on fire. Was it a substantial blaze, or did they just get like the front facade, or... I want to know about the extent of the damage, because that's it couldn't have been the full embassy. Embassies are very large, you know. It wouldn't go up that easily. I'm actually not seeing many articles on the fire itself. I'm seeing a lot of articles on the protest outside. Times of India, perhaps? Will you give me the information that I seek, that I crave? Okay, very spooky. Love it when so-called journalistic organizations editorialize by... India loves Israel, by the way, for some fucking reason. Oh, because they both hate Muslims. That's right. So, like, Dark Souls music, fake film grain, you know? Like, Dracula's playing on a fucking pipe organ. This is from Times of India. This is from the main... This isn't from like a random YouTuber, you know. Times of India probably has more readers in, you know, like broadly around the world than like a bunch of very popular Western newspapers. This is Bloodborne music. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. This is journalistic malpractice. Yeah, well, it aids India. Again, they fucking hate Muslims. It looks like the comments are all pro-Palestinian. That's nice. We love a pro-Palestinian comment section. I'm seeing very few articles on this. Is it really so small of a deal? Looks like the embassy itself might not have been damaged, just the front lawn or something. That would make sense to me. 18 Mexican police officers injured by firebombs thrown in riot at Israeli embassy. Multiple fires were set in the area of the embassy. 5 bus stations, several businesses, a police vehicle, and park benches were damaged. That's great. Riots don't do anywhere near this much damage in America. We used to be a real country, man. The closest we get to a proper... Like, the closest you get over here is like a bunch of students at Berkeley tip over a trash can. Huh.
Para limpiar el lente. El trapo con agua para limpiar el lente.
Oh, that kick!
Sí está, híjole, ay. Vale, sí. Vale.
Well, this right here is way different to how it is in the US. Well, yeah, American police are far more militarized and willing to just, you know, kill you. Mexicans saw this and were drawn to action. True! Somewhere in Latin America, there's probably already a photo of somebody who attended a protest holding a bit sign that had this image on it. Goku would not be a Zionist. Don't let the copers, the haters, the seethers say otherwise. I don't think Frieza would be pro-Israel. Whoa, hold on now. Let's not, you know, what is it, damning with faint praise? No, Frieza would be pro-Israel, and that's the point, you know? Goku to Israel, hey, I heard you're pretty strong. Yeah, you've been beating this Palestine guy for like 70 years. Why don't you pick on someone your own strength? I don't know. Yeah, Frieza loves genocide. Frieza genocided the Saiyans, yeah. Crazy how he managed to do that in spite of Frieza being 1/septillionth as strong as Goku would be, like, you know, one arc after the defeat of Frieza. Like, he was just the only Saiyan, and all the other Saiyans that were worth any shit at all just happened to be not there, you know? Stupid ass show. Good 2D Siggy. How you boy combing? Okay, whatever. All right, guys. We need to dedicate a portion of every stream to reminding ourselves that we're in a murder-suicide pact with Israel. It's very important. You're going to laugh at this one, folks. You're going to laugh. Israel says Gaza war likely to last another 7 months as tanks probe Rafah. Which is crazy because, again, the Gaza Strip is like the size of a single large metropolitan area. And Israel has a massive military, and they've already cleared out the entire, you know, all of it. Isn't it a wacky coincidence that 7 months would more or less run out to the end of Biden's term? You know? That's pretty crazy. I mean, pardon me for being a little conspiratorial about the guy who absolutely, definitely, 100% wants Trump to be president. But, yeah, I don't know. Makes me wonder if a deliberate goal at this point is to draw things out to a point where Netanyahu knows he has a completely unwavering ally. Yeah, fascists do love fascists. Seven months. And of course, this article opens with information that was apparently, you know, not available to the Department of State just yesterday, that Israel has in fact sent tanks into Rafah outside of the corridor that they had established beforehand. You know, Kirby is like, I haven't heard of that. You really think Israel would do that? Just go and talk to the American State Department and lie? Of course, he knew at the time that there were tanks in Rafah. You know, he wasn't surprised by that at all. He just wants to lie to defend Israel. Washington has said the Rafah assault did not amount to a major ground operation that would trigger a change in U.S. policy. Nothing will. They could nuke Rafah. It wouldn't matter. Who cares? Israeli tanks moved into the heart of Rafah for the first time on Tuesday, despite an order from the International Court of Justice to end its attacks in the city. Of course. The World Court has said Israel has not explained how it would keep evacuees from Rafah safe and provide food, water, and medicine. Of course, asking them to explain that would be anti-Semitic. Any chance this might crack even a little bit of Biden's Zionist brain rot? What part of murder-suicide pact didn't track with you when I said it? We're in it for the long haul, baby. This is it. This is our life now. You know, we have the State Department talking to the press corps, just saying like, yeah, you know, Israel isn't moving tanks in, and if they are, it's only one tank, and if it's a lot of tanks, it's not enough to constitute a major operation. And if it is enough to constitute a major operation, then who cares anyway? Because we'll just move the goalpost. You know, we're in it for life or until we die. That is how it works. Received distress calls where drones targeted displaced citizens as they moved from areas they were staying toward the safe areas. They're just openly bombing civilians, by the way. Like they've been doing this for a while, but I want you to know that right now over at IDF headquarters, their drone guys are just pressing big red buttons whenever they want to make a red splash with Palestinian babies. Like that, like any pretense of, well, there's an operant in the area or whatever is gone. It's just very direct, very open retaliation. I still believe that this is being done as retaliation for the missiles that were fired into Tel Aviv, because fascists love disproportionate collective punishment. They love that shit. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Wednesday Israel needed to craft a post-war plan for Gaza and that without it, lawlessness, chaos, and a Hamas comeback in the enclave could ensue. I mean, man, it's been 7 months and they still haven't developed any kind of game plan, and that's probably because their plan is to just kill people. Like, come on. Do you think Israel knew there would be a secondary explosion in the refugee camp they bombed? I don't even know if there was one. Like, we don't have any second guessing going on in the ground down there. We don't really, like, Israel has blocked or killed all the journalists. You know, the bits of information, we're getting little scraps of info out of there. Who knows? They could have fucking they just one big explosion, multiple explosions. Who knows? Like, who cares, right? The IDF wants to kill civilians. I don't think they're doing this in an operational capacity as like a stated goal. I think that they have a bunch of bloodthirsty psychopath soldiers from the like private to officer level, and that the basic attitude is like, go crazy, who cares, you know, whatever. Like they're not conducting this in like a Holocaust-esque fashion where they're doing this like top-down organized industrialized slaughter. They're basically just like they're doing the modern equivalent of letting your soldiers loose into local villages to rape and pillage as they please. It's not like operational policy. It's not top-down planning. It's not something you would lay out in a game plan. But, you know, the loot and pillage privilege is kind of what the soldiers expect. And you can't overdo it, because if you kill everyone, there will be no one to tax next year or like farm. But you can do it a lot. This happened all the time back in the Middle Ages. It still happens today. It's happening right now. Yes, it also gives the state more plausible deniability, right? Why commit to writing down, like, top general plan, kill everyone, like some kind of fucking infant G.I. Joe villain, when it's much easier to just delay, be incompetent, and just satiate the sadistic impulses of your lunatic ethno-nationalist, soldiers. I've read apparent interviews with IDF members, and yeah, the culture is fuck 'em. Any of these kids will grow up to be Hamas, so free game on anything that moves. Not surprising considering the fact that Israeli officials have been openly cheering collective punishment the entire time. Why would soldiers not follow through on that? You know, like, what's stopping them? Well, at any rate, the Nakba was actually quite similar. David Ben-Gurion never actually ordered an expulsion, but he implied it several times. Yes, exactly. That's often how stuff like this goes. You rarely get like, here's the game plan, be evil. Most often there's like a culture of cruelty, or a culture of like, you know, you can get away with this, and they just do. And that avoids having like a paper trail or any direct orders to acknowledge, you know? Happens all the time. All the time. Anyway, the idea that things might last this long, I mean, they're basically just using the civilians as targets in a firing gallery, but I do genuinely think the reason why projections are going out to 7 months is because they want to signal to the Biden administration that this is continuing no matter what. They want to signal broadly that, like, this is going to be all the way up to November. All the way up to November, right? Like, and you have to laugh at all of those dumb fuck, you know, liberals who were like, oh, who cares about foreign policy? Who cares about foreign war? This will all blow over soon. It's gonna head all the way up to the election, man. All the way up. I don't know, Kenneth Allen Cook. They'll blame young voters for turning. It's going to be fucking miserable, dude. There are going to be, like, Palestinian protesters at every major Democratic event. We're probably going to have the debates interrupted by people saying, like, free Palestine, you're a butcher, like that kind of thing, you know? It's, like, the whole way up. And it'll all be, every single bit of it, to be clear, the Democrats' fault. All of it. Every single bit of it, entirely on them, you know? You keep calm and you keep smiling to the audience while, like, quietly shutting down all internal discourse, censoring Rashida Tlaib, trying to crack down on it. Meanwhile, you're destroying the country, you're destroying the lives of Palestinian people, you're destroying your own re-election chances, and you're doing it because what? You're too cowardly to adjust the status quo with Israel, you know? You don't want to have an awkward conversation with your abusive friends, so you'd rather just, you know, leave their bad behavior to sit indefinitely. Why would you get in hot water for that, Sianis? Have you seen that clip from the Tantura documentary of Nakba soldiers talking about their experience? I mean, yeah, I've seen this. Just like bragging about doing war crimes. Yeah, I've seen it. I don't really think it's relevant to the any point that's being made, though. I feel like there's an element of like national determinism that I don't like. If you're like, you know, yeah, modern IDF soldiers are brutal. Look at how they were 80 years ago. It's like, okay, I mean, I get it, but I don't. It feels like the point that's being made here is a bit essentialist. Biden is a pretty serious Zionist. I am not sure it's cowardice. Oh, no, it is cowardice to a large extent. Otherwise, Biden would have been, like, actually defending Israel's behavior rather than doing this weaselly, like, the red line is always one step further into the horizon bullshit. I don't know. Give me motivation to get up? Fuck off. Stay mute. Get out of here. I'm not your goddamn source of inspiration, okay? I'm a funny YouTube haha man. Get it? You gotta do it yourself. But Vosh, this isn't funny or making me haha. Yeah, well. Yeah, well. What I don't get is how he is Zionist enough to support Netanyahu this much, but sane enough to hate his violence. I don't know. I think that, like, he's doing the liberal thing where he's doing the thing that, like, Pelosi said about how she wants there to be a strong Republican Party, in that Biden needs there to be an Israel and a Zionist project. He thinks that Netanyahu is the wrong guy to lead the project, but he thinks that there's no way to navigate this right now without, like you either abandon Zionism, which he won't do, or you defend Netanyahu, and he's chosen to do that. He wants there to be a more respectable person in charge of genociding Palestinians. Yes, effectively, yes. It's genuinely haunting how people were at the start of this, even though it was always clear to anyone paying attention how bad this would get. I mean, I felt like as soon as October 7th happened, I felt like this was pretty obviously like the big turning point, you know, which it has turned out to be, of course. I didn't expect it to get this bad. You know, like I'll admit that I expected it to be pretty bad. I didn't expect it to be this bad. I guess I also didn't really expect the Democrats to defend Israel this full-throatedly. Like, I expected them to continue to treat Israel as an ally. I didn't expect the Biden administration to go out, you know, on one foot and lie so aggressively to protect Israel. I expected more open critique or more like half-hearted support, not like this level of commitment. Where the Democrats are like agreeing with Republicans that campus protests against genocide are anti-Semitic. Insane shit like that, you know? At this point, though, like, guys, I don't know about you, but I feel like for the most part, the media isn't even going along with it that much anymore. There was a big, like, synchronized media push at the beginning, right after October 7th, where they were pushing misinformation. They were highly narrativizing their articles. But now, if you go on AP News, Reuters, whatever, for the most part, it's just daily update. Israel is belligerent and people are dying, you know? There's nothing to report on except for Israel's barbarity. And then you look at the White House press corps during these State Department meetings or conferences, and every question is pretty pointedly like anti-Israel. Why are you lying to us? What does this mean for November? I don't want Trump to win. Ooh, that sucks for you. None of this is good for Biden. I'll say that much. There's not a whole lot to twist the reality of the situation either, I think. It's just fucked what's going on. Yeah, there was more of an effort from Israel to provide like a positive narrative. By positive, I mean like an affirmative one. Like, this is the way to think about things. Look in the Al-Shifa hospital. Look at this calendar. This was a hostage calendar. Look at this iPad with Hitler in it. This was what every Palestinian read. They read Mein Kampf before bed, blah, blah, blah. There was more effort from Israel and the IDF to like assert a narrative. And Western media picked up on it, you know, and they rebroadcasted it uncritically to a large extent. But I don't think Israel's trying to do that much anymore. Now it just seems like the only narrative Israel is interested in pushing is like, you think we shouldn't murder children? That's anti-Semitic. Go over to the UN, shred the UN you know, articles. You're doing this. You're doing this. Oh, wow, you want us to, like, not bomb civilians? That's very Holocaust of you. Like, it seems like there's not even, no effort is being made now to give the pro-Israel guys a, like, positive, I'm presenting this narrative kind of story, way of looking at things. It's just like, do you think it's anti-Semitic to ask Israel politely to not kill as many children? That's it. Every public appearance of an Israeli official that I see, they get humiliated. They talk, you know, the like Israeli correspondent, that fat fuck who was talking to the, you know, the news station the other day, the one we looked at, that one who was getting choked out by his collar. Like he's a clown, and it looked like he was just getting trashed every time he opened his mouth because his lies are so blatant. How the fuck would I know, Lowengram? How the fuck does this person have me blocked, Pompeius36BC? Oh, they don't. They deleted the tweet. Or like they're on like follow only. I saw him on another interview last week. It was just as bad for him. Yeah, it's not good. Biden is just using war as a business so he could end war as a business. That's right. By showing the world the brutality of warfare and Zionism, Biden is actually giving. Biden is basically doing the like the Ozymandias gambit at the end of the Watchmen, where it's like, you know, if you make the world sick of war and sick of death, you end it forever. That's Metal Gear tier shit. Well, it is literally a quote from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, so yeah. CNN didn't post original, but did you see that CNN had a Holocaust survivor spend 8 minutes explaining in depth why Gaza is a Holocaust? This is 13 minutes, actually. Oh, this is a TYT video, I see. Okay. Hence the narrativization. You are seeing more critical coverage, even from places like CNN. TYT are very pro-Palestine. That's until Anna Kasparian realizes that after the non-stop bombing, most Palestinians are homeless now. Sorry. Stupid. Okay. Holy shit, we're 24 over and I haven't even read Donos? I guess I'll read Donos. I guess we'll talk about the jury deliberations tomorrow. Any day now, I assume we're going to get their very disappointing verdict, so we'll wait on that. You started late? Yeah, it's true. It's true. Life's tough, huh? Mistress Lynn, Semi-Locon, and Not on Fire Yet. Thank you for the tier 1 subs all. Really appreciate that. Kane, thank you for the $5. And the additional $5. Women says men should pay for first date because she's already paid by getting nails done, makeup, etc. Thoughts? I don't want to... What? Thoughts? What do you mean?
Was mad that she had to split the bill.
AI voice.
Okay, let me pause it there. Like, did you see those nails? I don't know how much the bill was, but if you look at her nails, she already paid. As someone who has an idea...
Stupid, don't care. You assume the bill is split by default, unless you know for a fact that one person makes more money than the other person, or you've discussed it beforehand. That's how it is. Bye-bye. Stupid fucking... Australis, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Shivers, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Men don't look at those nails. Yeah, let's clear something here, okay? Women don't get their nails done for men, because men don't give a shit, okay? Women get their nails done for themselves or to brag to other women, all right? That does not cover the cost of the date. Lily the Gaylord PhD, thank you for the 2 $5 donos. Really appreciate that. Appalachian Anarchist, thank you likewise. Lama Fran, Empress, and Olympians, thank you all for the $5. Your fitness advice has led me to lose 70 pounds, 30 more to go to 130. My dysphoria is way lower now. Nice! Well done, Empress. And good job not vaping as well. Keep it up, okay? You're a stronger person. This Juan, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Leafar and Quoteth, thank you for the 5 both. Really appreciate that. World Trigger, I'm not familiar with this. I can give it a look. Olympians, thank you for the $5. I have this take where I feel like if Hitler was a, like Kuvira, beautiful woman, there would have been a lot less hatred of him. Like, seriously, this is very inconsistent. I mean, it is well known that if somebody in a show is beautiful, then people will delusionally defend them for anything that they did that's bad, right? But yeah, if Kuvira was like an ugly guy, he would not have had the redemption arc that he did. I think that's a better way of saying it. Then the Mino with the $5. Aren't you one of the people who wants to try to kill big box stores, which poor people use to get affordable, non-pre-cooked food? Considering the fact that big box stores contributed to the lowering of wages in the areas that they open, yes, actually, I do, as a matter of fact. You know, I think we can somehow, just possibly, find a way to get cheap groceries to people without relying on a very specific model of economic consolidation that dries up business in the area and forces people to live on starvation wages. Conciliator, thank you for the tier 2 sub. Really appreciate that. Pookie GG and Kane111, thank you for the $5 both. Biden went on Howard Stern a few weeks ago. Is that desperate, or is it different from the clout Stern show has had over Tim Pool? Howard Stern is eons above Tim Pool in cultural relevance, in my humble opinion. You know? Vosh, in recognition of your advice yesterday, I went on a walk and have been watching what I eat, but how do I keep myself doing this instead of door dashing? You just keep doing it. You have to develop good habits for quickly, easily making cheap and delicious meals. Like, you have to find ways to make it easy for yourself, like incorporate it into your day-to-day life. Like, I don't watch what I eat. I just have meals that I like that are like relatively low cal and filling that I go to. I don't think of this as an active process of scrutinizing or assessing what I consume, you know? Layla Spellwin, thank you for the $5.55. Sorry you live in the UK. Alex Kurosawan, thank you for the $5. True. Ivy Ma, thank you for the tier 3 sub. Thank you. Been lurking for a year, but finally can donate. Wanted to say your debates and content really helped me stay confident after my egg started cracking. TY. Nice! That's wonderful. I'm really happy to hear that. Hell yeah. I hope the cracking continues. Stay cracked. Wax Newman and Shigbo, thanks to tier 1 subs both. Notice you seem more frustrated with stream, so I support the chat crackdown. I'm having a little more fun is what I want, is what matters. You know, when somebody in chat does something stupid, rather than getting frustrated, I should just like make fun of you. That's what I want to do, you know? I was being too nice. Abigail Normal, thank you for the $5. American libertarians are authoritarian. Yes, the politically active ones who call themselves libertarians, 100%. There are authentic, wacko, conspiracy nut libertarians that aren't authoritarian, but they're not as politically engaged. They tend to be kind of wacky, you know. Those are the goofy ones. It happens, Layla Spellwind. It happens. Let me check the super chats. Tucker Carlson is terrified of Jon Stewart. #1 viewed video of the past 10. You guys really do just want celeb slop, don't you? I was trying to hit it a little more esoteric from the back, you know, with some of the videos lately. You go for news coverage like 40K views to a video. I know the Tim Pool one is going to go crazy, by the way. Hey, did you know X celebrity did Y? Fucking soy slop pog. I need to remember, the only way to get you guys to consume news or any kind of critical analysis is to like, you have to have the honey with the medicine. You guys need like, did you know X person you're aware of from internet drama did this thing? And then in the video, I do the like productive conversation. The democracy of YouTube, that you make videos by the people and for the people. But the people are retarded. Yes. Many such cases. I'm glad you guys like those linen trousers and those carry-on jackets, by the way. I was a little bit more anxious about showing those off because they're a little bit wackier. Casual linen trousers that go up to like the high waist point, and non-structured suit jackets are both like an odder kind of thing. So I am happy that they seem to receive like pretty positive consideration. I mean, I love the anime Stunlock. I genuinely think that some of the best analysis that comes out of this channel, by which I mean me, thank you, comes from the Stunlocks that people write off as like non-segmented content that go on the Vosh pit. I genuinely think that one of the best ways to understand the world is through media analysis, because media, I mean, it's art we create to reflect our experiences. If you can process that intelligently, you know, I think it serves you well. This is why conservatives cannot do media analysis, like, at all. Because if they could, they'd realize all the media they like is screaming out loud over and over, like, you're bad, your ideology is bad. But, man, you know. Colin Turner and Benjamin Gilbert Leaf, thank you for the $5 both. Really appreciate that. Benjamin, why have you been exiled to YouTube chat this time? Colin Turner and Killer Tofu, thank you for the 5 both. Really appreciate that as well. Yeah, no, we're capable of seeing everything going down in Israel, 100%. Our satellite network is literally the best in the world. Not even close. Weird thing is, the Biden administration could just throw Bibi under the bus. He is a criminal both internationally and within his own country. Yeah, no, it's remarkable. It's a murder-suicide pact, you know? Anila and Ultimecia, thank you for the 25 RN and 5 USD. Really appreciate that. What do you think about Warhammer/Warhammer Fantasy? I assume you mean 40K/Fantasy, and also Fantasy has been discontinued, so by Warhammer Fantasy, I assume you mean Age of Sigmar. It's cool. Got some good figurines if you're willing to drop $5 million on them. Through the Wormhole, thanks to $2. Mayasar, thank you for the $10. I've been meaning to read Worm for a long time. It's gotten recommended to me quite a bit, you know, quite a bit. Maybe one time I'll be able to. Marin, thank you for the $5. Is Super Mario Galaxy 2 worth playing or just 1? I haven't played Super Mario Galaxy 2. However, Donkey says that 2 is even better than 1. Still alive, thank you for the $10. My take on how Trump would have handled Israel and Gaza is that he would have been just as bad as Biden, but allow Netanyahu to mass genocide, flatten Gaza much faster, no pretense, agree or am I off? I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. It kind of feels like Israel is already doing whatever the fuck they want, right? I don't know. Jalen Naito, thank you for the $5. Love that you've been watching NL. I've watched him for 10 to 12 years. So glad he's getting the success he deserves. He certainly is. You know, man streams to a larger audience than me. And yeah, NL feels like he's the only adult in the streaming room, kind of. One of the reasons that I've been cracking down harder on chat is because I appreciate the no-nonsense attitude that he has with his chatters. I think it's very admirable. So live, thank you for the 5. Shadow Angel 09, thank you likewise. No. I'm hungry. Benjamin Gilbert Lift, thank you for the $20. Your Vosh, don't feel bad by your milkshake. How else will you bring all the boys to the yard? With my fat fucking cock. I don't need the milkshake, thank you. But I appreciate it anyway. $20 should cover one DoorDash milkshake. I love you guys very much. I hope you know that. I'm going to send you over to... Man, I am... Why is Dara, like, legitimately the only person who streams when I'm... Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm sending you guys over to Dara because I think it does good cooking. I'm just trying to get you guys to cook your own goddamn meals, okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. I love you. I love you. Be well.